So, Lucy, did you actually see Tron Ares or what? Because
No,
I
I
think you were
did
like,
not.
oh, I'm not going to. Really? Still, have you just been listening to the soundtrack? You haven't even bothered to go see it yet. Wow, get wrecked, Jared Leto.
I know. I wanted to go because I thought it would be nice to experience the Nine Inch Nails visual album in Dolby IMAX.
Is that what they're calling it now?
But instead I did not. I don't understand what bodies. Whose bodies does Jared Leto know the location of? Why is he still getting leading roles?
I saw this headline that was just like, I think it was from Variety or someone. It was just like, the people do not want to see Jared Leto on screen.
The people.
And it was the people. It was like the most perfect summation of like just everything around that movie and him and whatever. The people do not want to see Jared Leto on screen.
No, did you see? I felt so bad. Like I really struggle with secondhand cringe. I can only watch one episode or two of Curb at a time.
Sure.
There's a video of Jared Leto going to I think it's the Metreon here in San Francisco.
Oh, and he's like, hey, everybody, at the screening, and it's like a half-empty theater. Yeah.
And there's just one woman going, woo!
Yeah.
And he says, I told you, get excited. And she goes, woo! And it's...
like that time Ninja did the New Year's event. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of cringe I can't deal with. I can't deal with it.
Listen, a lot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And like, I think some people last week thought I specifically was shitting on Tron. No, I love Tron. Nobody goes to see Tron. That's the whole thing, is that Tron has been this weird, strange entity that continues to like truck along, but like somehow it's not like Avatar, like, but it's
Avatar is literally the second, like one of the most profitable films ever made.
Yeah, but people joke about that whole cultural, like the cultural significance of it. But like I have the disc. I got a disc.
Shit. That's cool.
It was supposed to light up. I just bought this fucking thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow.
Can't believe Disney sold you a faulty product.
Wait, now I can't get it to turn off. Stop.
I love that. That's actually sick as hell. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Tron's cool, man. I mean, I haven't seen the new one. I haven't shown support, but
I was gonna say
I've been too busy playing games.
Tron lover. Yeah,
a fake fan apparently.
Yeah,
I saw Legacy in theaters like 3 times, so I did my part.
Yep.
Anyway, what is this? Is this a podcast? Was that our intro? Talking shit about Tron again?
Again. I think that was our open last time as well. But I don't care, man. I had that in my head all week. I wanted to know Lucy's thoughts on this. I'm actually really disappointed you didn't go. Can you please go and see it this week for the podcast, okay?
I don't think it's still in theaters, man.
They've been pulled already.
It must be. It
probably has, eh?
I feel I kind of do want to go see it, but at the same time, I saw Begonia instead, man. I've had my one theater trip for the month.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that. Definitely want to pick your brain on that. Yeah. Other than that, though, this is the Friends Per Second podcast. It's episode 81. We made it.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're close. We're getting to that 100. We've got to figure out what we're doing.
It'll only take
We're going to end it.
Almost a year.
Right.
Get to 100 and then go, all right,
good night.
We're
going to fire the podcast into the sun.
No, I've actually, this is big because I've been saying I was doing this, but I actually have finally like changed my sleeping schedule. That's why I didn't answer your message this morning.
Right.
I'm trying to sleep in because I record this podcast late my time. And by the second half of the podcast, like I listen back sometimes, the second half of the podcast, like every episode, I just get like really sleepy and rambly. So I'm trying to like adjust my timing so I'm more awake this time, hopefully. We'll see.
I don't notice a lack of like a dip in energy.
Well, thank you.
From you.
You got that New York hustle.
So I'm trying to.
That Long Island hustle, I should say.
That's it. Just slamming Diet Coke. Got to do what you got to do. All right. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. We have 2 interviews that I'm two that I was not involved with that I'm very excited to listen to, as well as some hardware stuff, a lot of games, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline 2, Double Fine's new game, maybe a little bit more Battlefield 6 talk, some weird addictive game that you guys have been into, Outer Worlds 2 a little bit. There's so much. So I think the first thing we should probably dive into is the Xbox Ally X. You guys have all been using this device. Am I correct?
Okay. Yes and no. I only got mine yesterday because they like the Australian review program, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna send it to you like a week or two in advance, like when you guys got yours. I'm like, okay, cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then I get a message being like, oh, they're delayed in Australia, we're not sure when you're gonna get it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was like, maybe it'll be launch day, whatever, maybe a little bit before launch, maybe launch day. Launch day comes and goes. I didn't hear anything. And then I'm like emailing them like, hello, is it still coming? And I didn't hear anything from them for like the entire weekend. Got an email this Monday saying like, yeah, it's coming. And so it got sent to me and arrived yesterday. And I just spent basically the day installing stuff. So I have not had much hands-on time with this. I've only gone through the kind of unboxing and first boot experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's Windows.
So that,
oh baby, this is a fucking PC right here, baby. We'll talk about it, but yeah.
So that's the thing, is that I wonder how the first boot experience has changed, because in the review program, for context, I had it for I think 2 weeks before, and they sent a very big long PDF file.
I got that. Yeah.
And it was like basically saying that none of this boot experience will happen, but like we had to kind of go through a few hoops to get things set up because there was a lot of updates.
It was even more Windowsy when we got a pre-launch.
So for you, Ralph, I guess you would have had...
Does yours boot into admin and like you had to enter admin every time it started up? Is that what you had to do?
No.
But
okay, right. Well, I think they did even more stuff with mine. Like I think mine boots into, whenever I turn it on, does your thing boot into the Xbox dash or does it boot to Windows straight away?
When I first got it, it booted to Windows straight away.
And you had to, okay, right. And then did you hardware reset, like factory reset it or some shit to get it back to like?
So we had to essentially go through this whole process of updating things. But I will say that after I did all that, I did factory reset it to see what the retail setup experience would be.
Okay.
And it's a little streamlined. It still feels like you're logging into a Windows device.
Right.
And it has some things here and there. But it's a
restart mine. I'm a monster who just puts stuff in sleep mode, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited now that the review process is over because I want to fuck with it. I want to like break it in a good way, like software wise.
Yeah.
So Ralph, I do want to know first impressions, just hand feel, like getting it in your hands. How do you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that stuff, like, because I talked about that when I did my preview of it, which is like, I think this is a really nice device to hold. Look, I got an upgrade. I got a notification. Upgrade Armory
crate, baby.
I guess I'll do that now. In my preview, I'm like, this is a nice device to hold. It has the ergonomics that are, I think, really great. It's a really big, it reminds me of that old Duke controller, like the old dinner plate with 2 sausages on either side of it from like back in the day. Which is great for me because I have big hands, but I can understand if someone is not into that, It is heavy. There's no doubt about it, right? Like notably. It's the thickness of the device that kind of really like, it's very thick.
Yeah, that's
and so you're holding this thing and, a handheld, it is a handheld, obviously, but it just feels so substantial in your hands. It really feels like you're holding a computer that with a controller around it rather than holding a handheld, which I think is a weird way to frame it. But look, like I said, it is comfortable. There's no doubt about that. I really like its ergonomics. But yes, it is heavy and thick, and it just feels very substantial in the hand in a way that like the Switch doesn't. Like you pick up the Switch and you're like, whoa, this is like really, how are they doing this? It feels a little bit magical, the Switch too, and I don't think it gets enough credit for that. But yeah, this device is not that. Having said that, it feels good to hold. No doubt about that at all. What do you guys think? I
like it. I have been, like I said, using it for a while now. I have not picked up my ROG Ally. I had the original one, not even the updated, more powerful one.
You're an OG fan, yeah.
I was an OG. I never upgraded it because it was good enough for what I needed it. And I think comparison to that one, especially if you compare the build quality, that one definitely felt very plasticky, very cheap. This one, like you said, is way more substantial. So I think the thing for me is that it is an Asus product that is also an Xbox, and these two brands. It's weird where they have given like a push and pull between the two of them. So for example, like the extra buttons that you have the Xbox button now, so you get the Xbox game bar, but you also have the Xbox library button. But then at the same time, if you press the Armory crate button, there's also the Armory crate in there,
which stylistically looks different than the rest of the UI.
Correct.
Yes. So it's this mashup of things that I think doesn't fully coalesce into a really good user experience.
No.
I still like to go into Steam big picture mode, even though I have been playing a bunch more on the Xbox and stuff. And so it is kind of strange for me to see like Ball X Pit in the Xbox library, even though I've been playing it on Steam. And so I like the fact that they are trying to streamline and have everything in the same place. You don't need 3 of those buttons just to access your library though. And then in terms of the actual like using the Xbox game bar, I don't know, I keep accidentally activating Copilot, which
is we don't want that. Yeah.
I keep accidentally opening PowerPoint. What's happening?
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, overall, yeah, build quality. I mean, actually, come on. The one thing we haven't talked about
is that it has Teams on it.
Stand.
That thing.
Stand.
Yeah,
that is the stand that comes with it.
It's
for your $1,000 console.
It's a bit of cardboard, and like, I mean, I said, you know, it's fully recyclable, so good on them for being, you know, pop off eco-consciousness.
I would have rather just the cheapest little case, and it's hard to compare it to like the Steam Deck, but the Steam Deck comes with a nice case.
Yeah.
And you know, this
does it
like
come
you're
with a
buying
case?
The Steam Deck, yeah.
No, you're right. Sorry, the Steam Deck does. Sorry, I was thinking the Switch.
Yeah,
Never mind.
this like I feel like $1,000, like you're buying the Ferrari of handhelds.
100% agree.
And you know, just I could have used like a little piece of shit case, you know, just a little something, a little goodwill.
Yeah.
You know,
you should check out D-Brand's Kill Switch case, my friend. They got you covered right there. You know.
Wow.
Do you have some kind of code that I could use?
Offer code SHILLUP. Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I'm really reluctant to say too much about this because I haven't really spent a lot of time with it. But the first experience that I had with it was pretty dreadful, to be honest with you. Like it really did feel like I was just wading through PC bullshit to be able to enjoy this. And it's like, and the thing is, right, I did this with the Asus, and I was like, I was saddled up for that. Like I did that with the original ROG, right? ROG Ally. No, Asus Roger Ally. Asus ROG Ally.
ROG Ally.
I did that with
the
that.
ROG Xbox Ally.
Correct. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I did that, and I'm like, okay, well, that's what you sign up for, man. Like, you're buying a handheld PC, and there was no illusions about that. And you know, you're like, cool, and you expect you have to wade through some bullshit. But even then, I was like, you know, the reason that I continue to recommend the Steam Deck over the ROG was purely because you get to avoid Windows. Like, and I know that it's like, it's cool that you get to play Destiny on the ROG for sure. You got that flexibility. You can play your Epic games and whatever else.
Yeah.
But like, for me personally, being able to avoid Windows entirely is a massive benefit when it comes to a handheld gaming experience.
I agree.
Also, the profile of the games I like to play on that kind of device, Steam has those games, you know, like, can I play Overwatch on it? No. Do I want to play Overwatch on a handheld? Not particularly. Like, I'm sure that there's obviously different examples of different games. You can't, for sure. Depends where you built your library, depends whatever. Game Pass, for example, is a really good example. People who are really leveraged into Game Pass, the Steam Deck's a bummer for them. They can't do it unless they sideload, in which case it works fine, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, my point is, you saddle up for that bullshit when you buy that device, but when you buy an Xbox branded console, it's like, here's an Xbox console. You kind of expect that you're not going to have to do that. And I think Xbox, the way they position this device, and they promise the kind of like Xbox thing where it doesn't boot up all of Windows, and it's got this new Xbox, what's it called? The Xbox Experience or something?
The full screen experience.
Full screen experience.
Yeah. Which is what I just restarted mine. Mine boots into that. I have the Windows login screen, but then it boots fully into the Xbox.
So, like, it's not good, okay? It's a really simple set of interface that doesn't really do a lot other than, like, unify my libraries. Now, I don't care about that. Like, GOG did that years ago. Remember, like, Good Old Games did an update for their thing years ago where you have a unified library. You can unify your libraries in lots of different launches if you work hard enough to do it. I mean, like, so far, like, all I'm and this is a good device in terms of how it runs, and I have no doubt about that, and I will continue to use it and play it. But like, right now, it strikes me that like Xbox isn't all Xbox is in this context is an additional software layer that is not adding any value. All I have done with this thing is like set up Steam on it and then installed games on Steam, and now I can see those Steam games on the Xbox dashboard. But like, what value has Xbox added in that process of being able to get to that? Do you know what I mean? Like, why would I use this launcher when I can just go straight into Steam? And sure, it's like, oh, I've got different libraries and whatever else, but like most people build their library. If you're playing on PC, most people are building the Steam library, right? Most people, yeah. So like, well, and it's not like the software itself is giving me any added benefits. Like friends list, if I'm juiced into the Xbox ecosystem, fair enough. Like, can I use this to capture gameplay? I don't think so. Like this.
Can you? I thought you can use game.
You can. Unfortunately, I capture it a lot for my videos, and it's a really low bit rate.
Is it really?
Bad. Yeah,
okay,
it's
that's
bad.
I mean, that's one thing that would have been really
Save
nice.
you the trouble. Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like what can I do? I can see my Game Pass list. I can see my libraries of games again, which is basically just Steam games. I can go straight into the cloud, but like again, I can just do that by some other means.
Well, it also comes like if you're a customer, like how invested are you even in Microsoft or Xbox ecosystems as well?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a storefront here. Like who's I mean, I guess again, if you're continuing to build a library of games on Xbox, sure. But I think what this generation has proven is that like no one's building their libraries on Xbox platforms. They're using Game Pass, and you know what I mean. Like like that's I think been proven multiple times. So I guess what I'm saying is like I really think if this is like a taste of Xbox's hardware future, I'm like, well, what value are you adding in this process? You have become it's like this. You're this middleman. You're essentially Xbox is another launcher now. That's really just pulling together other better launchers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is it just community they're bringing, like name recognition, like achievements, ecosystem, and that's it? Like, because if they just said that, then that's fine. Like, if you want to carry that through, okay. But I'm also a little confused with it. I will say that aside, I think it's a good device. I've been able to push it pretty hard.
Sure.
I'm able to mess around with it. It was really, it kind of goes back to what you were saying with Overwatch though, where I could get Battlefield 6 on this, and I played Battlefield 6 multiplayer on that, and I could even get it at a pretty good frame rate. But I'm like, how often am I gonna do that?
It's not for I don't think. Yeah,
it's kind of like it's with this, it's me finding what experiences work for it, where it's like the Steam Deck, do some great games, do some low-key Steam games. This, I have the power to push things hard, but is it that type of experience that I want on this, you know? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, totally. That's what I long ago decided when it comes to how I use these devices personally, because it's really intoxicating to think, oh man, I can play, you know, fucking I don't know, like the latest thing that comes out. It's AAA game. I'm going to play Cyberpunk 2078 on this thing. It's like, no, you're not. It's not going to run very well. It's going to look bad. You should play that on a TV. You know. And again, I know a lot of people do. Of course, I'm not going to tell everyone how they should play, but. Yeah.
But like, you know, we'll talk about Ball Pit, or it was on the edge of, but like that is a perfect use case. Stuff like Fields of Mystery, things that don't require, you know, I don't know, like I would hate to play some games on this because I don't want to have to compromise my experience. Because again, I don't want to be like looking down the whole time. If it's, you know, I hate that it's feeding into second screen syndrome, but I feel sometimes, and because we have to, you know, we're playing everything, right? To talk about it. It's like sometimes I feel like if I'm watching TV or watching YouTube or something, I'm like, oh, I could be playing something. And this is kind of the second screen. And it's a better device for me to do that on.
But to play Ball X Pit though, you don't need $1,000 machine. Like you just need like your mobile phone, but it's not on mobile, by the way. Thank God it's not. Otherwise, my life is over. Please never, Devolver, never port this game to mobile, okay?
Oh man, no. Sounds like one of those.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, like I think that again, those sorts of games, this is where the Steam Deck really positions itself strongly in terms of like, you know, it's a cheaper device that's not as performant, but it's put a premium on like good performance to battery and price and a great OLED screen. And this is another thing. This is $1,000 device. No OLED. It is 120 hertz for sure. But yeah, no OLED, and you can kind of feel that a little bit at times. I think you kind of want a bit more pop, a little bit more brightness. And
got
so
a
the Steam Deck
terabyte hard drive.
Yeah, I've never been that bothered by that stuff purely because SD cards are so cheap, and I've always just put an SD card into my Steam Deck, and like I just have endless storage on that thing now. But I think as well, like my brother came to me the other day. He's like, "Oh, I want to buy a handheld PC kind of thing." He's like, "What do you reckon?" I'm like, "Well, Steam Deck, yep." But I also said, like, look, man, the Switch 2 is a really good offer. Like, if you want a handheld, right, just don't overlook the Nintendo Switch, because it's going to play a lot of the kind of games you want to play on a handheld, and then you also get access to that full Nintendo library. And then if you want a PC, because he hasn't got a PC, like, just build a decent. Just build
that's
like
interesting.
A decent,
yeah, because I would say very much like for people that there was a lot of people like that with the Steam Deck who got the Steam Deck who aren't PC gamers.
Sure.
And I think it should still stay that way. This, I honestly think, is for someone who is a hardcore PC gamer who deals with Windows bullshit and tinkering and has a lot of money, and they just want like a top quality, like hardcore chipset in here, and they don't care. Then sure, then it's for you, because I don't think it's a disaster. I don't think it fails on that front. No. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to someone as their first foray into PC gaming.
No, definitely not. You would want something with a much easier onboarding, something that's not
totally
not Windows.
This is
It's
an enthusiast device.
Yeah,
it's an enthusiast device.
Yeah,
and it's got a premium price tag. And I feel like if you're in a position to make a purchase of $1,000 on a handheld gaming device, I feel like you're probably the type of person who will have done research, who is familiar with the space enough. Because I assume if you search handheld gaming PCs, handheld gaming devices, Switch and Steam Deck will be the first things.
Yeah.
You've got to go through a lot of word salad to get to the ROG Xbox Ally app.
You really do. And I wonder how many of these things they made. I wonder how many they sold.
Well, they sold out, right? That first
but how many they
wave,
make?
but how many did they
30
make?
of them? Yeah. Like,
listen, we all sold out.
Nice, man. A word from our sponsors. I mean, look, I don't want to, again, I don't want to shit all over it, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm not just like, this device sucks.
Yeah.
Because like, as we've said, as a really high-end gaming handheld for people who really know what this is and know how to use it, yeah, cool. But I suspect those people who want a really high-end, like people who have the money for this and are really engaged enough in this, kind of understand that you don't really need this amount of power in a handheld, and this, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm guessing people who are really that engaged want to sit down at a couch or a TV to enjoy Cyberpunk running at max settings, rather than play like a version of it like on a handheld like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's how I feel. That's the advice I would give to most consumers, even enthusiast consumers. So I'm not saying that this is like a bad device. I'm just saying, as I was using it in this beginning phase, all I could really think is, what value is the Xbox brand adding to this device? This is an Asus handheld. Pretend this is an Asus made handheld with nothing Xbox related on it. What value does Xbox add by being on this device?
Yeah, it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve any of the problems in terms of, if anything, it is an extra layer to wade through.
I think it is an extra. That's exactly the conclusion I came to. It's an extra layer to wade through that I do not believe is adding value. I would much rather set this up as a Steam, like, because you can install Steam OS now, or like they've exported that out. Like, I would just rather run Steam OS on this. And like, again, I know you don't get Game Pass, you don't get your full libraries. I get that, but like, I don't know. That's
my plan. That's my weekend plan, is to futz around with that.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, to see how, because I like the ergonomics of this. I like the joysticks. I think the joysticks are really good. I like the triggers. I don't like the face buttons.
I was going to say, as someone with broken ass wrists, I will say it has been very comfortable for me in long ball pit sessions.
Good to know. Yeah. So like I also noticed like the speakers are really loud.
Yeah, they are.
I was playing Battlefield and I had a jet fly over my head, and I got that like Battlefield sound experience blasting at me, and I was like, that's cool. The only thing is, you guys let me ask you a question. When you're playing on your Steam Deck or your mobile, you ever
Yeah, all the time. Smells good, man.
It's not as satisfying on the Ally X, so that's my verdict.
Wait, does it have to be warm?
Oh yeah, it's got to be going,
pumping some air.
No, it's out of the exhaust chambers at the top. When it's really going, you're like, oh yeah, it smells good, man. It smells like gaming.
Yeah, it's gaming.
That's right.
Okay, hey, I'll report back. I'll be gaming later, and I'll report back.
Good. Okay. So for me, I think in my videos I was ultimately like, it's complicated, but it's also like, if you're an informed consumer, like, you know what you're getting into with this. You're either going to be like, nope, absolutely not, or you're going to be like, cool, this is a maximalist device, and I'm a maximalist gamer. Which, Ralph, I think you really hit the nail on the head with, like, there being a lot of nuance to that. And if you have a high-end PC, there's still so much value in something like a Steam Deck. But
absolutely,
I've been surprised with how many handheld PCs have been out there, or handheld gaming devices have been out there, and how many people like have their little sub fandoms about it. Like, there's a lot of MSI claw heads. There's a couple GPD Win people. There's Lenovo Legion Go people. So there's, I don't think they fucked this one up. So I think there's going to be Xbox, Asus, ROG, Ally, X fans as well.
They can make T-shirts, but they'll only come in extra large because you need the space to be able to write all those words.
Text down,
yeah. I think this really sort of folds into that conversation that Sarah Bond, an interview this week. Sarah Bond talk. Who was the interview? Does anyone remember off the top of their head?
She was in Variety.
Mashable,
at some point.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, she did some
Variety.
stuff for Variety as well.
Yeah, so they're basically talking about the next gen Xbox, and I think she said the next gen Xbox is going to be very premium.
Start saving now, boys.
Very premium, highly curated. I think is that the exact quote?
I'll get the exact quote. I got
it. Yeah, because I don't want to verbal her. Because I think. Go on.
Go ahead.
No, you go. Awkward pause.
Okay, so sorry. She says, the next gen console will be a very premium and high-end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld, the Ally X, but I don't want to give it all away. So
what does that mean?
There you have it. The fact that she said you're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld, that to me says
we're going to add layers of annoyance,
but also some sort of compromise, or not compromise. I guess maybe compromise. Third-party collaboration, licensing.
Totally agree.
Thing, and sort of what we talked about last week with Ralph saying, kind of more of like a boutique, high-end, branded box that is just very much a PC. But yeah.
I just can't for the life of me understand why she said this. It just seems like such a bad threat to make to the market. Like the next Xbox is going to be very high end, very premium. Like, those are two words. Like, premium means price. And like, I just don't understand this. Like, no one's buying Xboxes now, and their pitch is like, but what if we made it more expensive?
The thing is on Xbox Financials out next week?
I don't know. I
think we're around that time.
I
mean, Sarah Bond has said some wacky stuff. I mean, what was the quote after? Like, it was either after a bunch of studio closures or a bunch of layoffs or something happened. I remember, and I was like, oh, it was the Bloomberg interview.
I remember that one. That was legendary.
Yeah, dude.
That was after the closure of Tango. Everyone was very mad at that point. So she obviously just went into that unprepared. She just kind of fumbled her way through it with word salad. But this one, though, it just feels more deliberate. Like, to say these words, like, obviously Sarah Bond's going to be is an extremely smart person. To say like a high-end, curated, premium, those are very specific words that we're talking about. For a console,
that is setting expectations.
They mean things. Yeah, those words mean things in this world. Especially when you've got Xbox Series S, which was a play at like, how do we make it as accessible as possible? Like, how do we make sure as many people as possible can buy into our ecosystem? And now she's saying like the kind of exact opposite of that, or positioning it in that way. So, I don't know. It didn't sound great. I think the response to it wasn't good either. I think when the truest thing, well, probably all true, but I think to really cling to were the words where she said, like, you're seeing some of that thinking now with the handheld. And I think this is all about that run up to announcing it as a PC. I do think some third-party partnerships. I do think a very limited run of production and positioning this as a device that you will buy directly from Xbox. And it's this thing if you want it. It's the Microsoft Surface of consoles, you know?
God, that is such an apt comparison. It's the Surface. Yeah.
It's going to catch on. And when it does catch on, I want you to know it was me, baby. It was me, okay? It was me.
Tell Phil Spencer. I want him to know it was me.
Oh my goodness. Me. Now, what was the other thing? Because Xbox has been in the news so much this week. What was the other thing about developer kits?
Dude, I yearn for the day that we do not have to start an episode of this podcast talking about some batshit thing that Xbox has done recently.
They increased the price of their development kits by $500 just because they said they need the $1 trillion company. The $1 trillion company needs to charge developers an extra $500 per unit.
And that's the thing.
The developers who are deciding
all of that goodwill with the ID at Xbox program. The fact that Xboxes are not even selling, and so for developers, is it even worth their best interest to port to Xbox? And now they're making that whole process even more expensive.
It's very funny, man. There was something else as well.
Exclusives are antiquated.
Sarah Bond also said that, didn't she? She said that.
I'm going to need a direct quote on that.
1 second,
that's
please.
Crazy.
Yeah, I did see this morning when I woke up, and I'm just like, oh, okay, here we go. This is from GameSpot. This is a GameSpot. This is one of yours. Oh, no, this is they're pulling Mashable. Never
mind.
A quote. Sorry, this is Mashable.
I was like, we didn't get that interview.
No, this is Mashable. The dislike ratio on this video is not good. Yeah, look, I think she says the quote, the biggest games in the world are available everywhere. You look at Call of Duty, you look at Minecraft, you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox. That's actually what's really driving community in gaming. That's where people gather. And the idea of locking it to one store or one device is antiquated for most people, end quote.
I mean, yeah.
You reckon?
Well, I mean, like the big exception is PlayStation, right? Like they do exclusives still,
and Nintendo.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so most of them.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 platforms.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
The one platform that hasn't been able to ship a system selling exclusive within the last 10 years are like, you know what, guys? We don't even like exclusives anyway. They're so old-fashioned, you know?
Yeah, it's like they've done it. And now it's like
stupid thing to say, man. It's such a silly thing to say. Like, okay, cool. Not everything needs to be exclusive, but some things are exclusive, and that's a good thing because it contributes to an ecosystem. Like, I don't know, man. I just these are the bombs that these guys are dropping all the time, and it's such a crazy thing to say. Like, of course, exclusives are what's propping up the 2 most successful console manufacturers right now. They're what's propped up this industry for the since it was born. Do you know what I mean? And to suggest that is antiquated is just crazy to me. Like, sure, not everything needs to be exclusive, but some things are, and it works really well for some of those companies, like 2 out of 3, you know? And so to suggest that it's antiquated, I just think it's crazy. Anyway.
I did have a wild thought about missing the console wars. I was like, man, I'm going to be sad when there's not a third, like if Xbox is obviously changing their entire approach to everything, right? Like I kind of almost am going to miss the days where it was like, they're both going to announce their consoles at the same time. And it's like this Cold War arms race of who's going to price, who's going to be competitive, pushing one another to try different things. And, it's like that whole competition thing. There is value in that.
There's always the console wars in the pejorative sense, which is people on Twitter with that, the Wojak wearing the colored beanie kind of thing.
I mean the corporations war. No,
I agree.
That's the good war. Yeah,
that's the good war. Because that is actual competition for consumers, and that's competition for our dollar, of producing a better thing, right? Obviously, console war bullshit on social media sucks, but that other form of console war is really good and been really healthy, and that's why I've never been against exclusives for console platforms, because it's a central part of driving forth this whole ecosystem, right?
And now we're in a place where, at least graphically, even Shu said it when we talked to him last episode, it's what is the next graphical upgrade going to be?
Yeah.
What is the what is the next leap going to be? And it just feels,
well, yeah. Also, it's like, well, what is the next thing? It's like they're all like a lot of the games are built on like similar like architecture.
Well, built on
hardware
Unreal
is
Engine
kind of
5,
all becoming the
baby.
same. Yeah.
Yep.
So
yep.
Times they are changing.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel bad that we're always like, saying bad stuff about Xbox.
Well, yeah,
I gotta say, we don't want to do it.
We don't want to do this, right? And like, we're gonna do later on. We're gonna do a thing on Keeper because Keeper's a great game.
Oh, we're gonna talk very positively about it.
Totally, and Double Fine is a great studio, and they back this game and they back these people, and like we love that, and we're gonna sing its praises, right? Because when Xbox does good shit, we say it. When they don't, they don't. But it's like a lot of these moves right now, and a lot of the things they bust out with, you're just like, come on, guys, like, yeah. So I get it. Like, I'm sure people listening to us would be like, we're tired of hearing you shit all over Xbox. It's like, well, that's not the plan. It's never the plan. It's really just like to talk about what's going on in the industry. And realistically, one of the biggest news stories this entire year has been Xbox's transformation. Yeah. Where they kind of began flirting with that stuff last year with like multi-platforms. But now it's a much more wholesale transformation as they exit the hardware category and reposition themselves as a third-party publisher, while also flirting with these other ideas of like, no, well, we're still in hardware. We promise. We're making a handheld with someone else, and we're going to release a console, but it's going to be really expensive.
And that's the thing. Like, maybe it's because we're old and we've all been doing this for a long time.
Hey, I'm not old. You're old, Lucy. I'm just speak for yourself.
Okay,
you're 38, so that's how it goes.
Hey, I'm not gonna. Like. A lady never talks about her age.
Yeah, Ralph's like 51.
Yeah, Ralph, what are you talking about?
That's right.
81 episodes, like 81 years of Ralph. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you imagine at the height of the Xbox 360 era, thinking about Xbox being in this position right now, you would not have believed it.
Yeah,
and like,
for sure.
It is so huge. And it also kind of feels as like, not to tie my personality or anything to something, but it's just so weird watching them bow out like this. Not bow out fully, but watching the changes that they are making happen it feels very quickly, but obviously it's been over the last few years.
Yeah.
It just feels crazy to watch it all happen. And so everything that they do, you're going to kind of dissect it. And I guess you can't just announce all of this shit in one go.
True.
But I mean, it was going to be a struggle announcing even a fifth of the changes, and yet.
Yep.
And again too, I think the hit rate is really good. Generally, Xbox releases a lot of games that I enjoy playing, and I've talked about them publicly, and I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
So I want them to continue doing that. And also for me, the stakes are high as a fan because now they own so many fucking things that I absolutely can't root for them to fail. Because they have all these things that I enjoy. So I like to end on like a positive. We've brought up the comparison of like Sega in the past with like, oh, Sega eventually just, all that hardware stuff ended and they just pivoted to publishing. And now I feel like we all look at Sega like, all right, Sega, cool, man. Good for you, man. And I hope that eventually if Xbox does kind of really completely change and really exit hardware like that, I hope that years and years from now, we will still look at Xbox doing something and we'll look at them as this like cool legacy in the history of gaming. And they're still out there and they're doing their thing. It's different. And it's going to be a really hard adjustment period. But I'm hoping we can look at them like how we look at Sega. Maybe not Atari so much, but Sega.
Atari's, they cleaned up their act lately.
Yeah,
Atari's doing much better now.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
They do. They got some new leadership, and they're like actually just focused on making games. They dropped all that like NFT and crypto bullshit. And
wait, I like when they had the hat that had the speakers built into it. That was cool.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yep. So they're definitely doing much better. So like, and Konami obviously they're like they're doing
had a good year.
Picking up. Yep. So it's possible to like turn your brand around and recover or whatever else. But yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's just a really awkward transformation for Xbox because I think there's also no clean break. Like Sega announced, we are no longer making Dreamcast and we're out of hardware. Cool, done. We can begin rethinking about that. Whereas with Xbox, it always is like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and we're always kind of like, hey, you've done this weird half-measure thing that doesn't really work for a lot of reasons. Why do you keep sort of doubling down in this direction? Whereas part of me just imagine if they just said, look, guys, we tried with hardware, didn't work for us. We're all in as a platform, as a platform now for, we We want Game Pass to be successful. We want our third-party publishing to really work. We want to make sure we keep Xbox communities alive for people who are already there, but we're making a break from hardware. Honestly, I'd be like, cool. That at least is a clear message that we can all just sort of align behind and be like, all right, we know what the future is now. Cool. Let's just like stop like worrying about all these distracting nonsense and all of these like kind of reading the tea leaves and Sarah Bond statements and what they're trying to say, and just like, cool. Their job is to make good video games for us. They have a lot of studios who can do that. Let's just let them get on with that, you know?
Yeah.
So
well said.
Anyway.
Well, that wraps up the shit on Xbox corner, which is not what it is.
Tune in for more next week at the top of the show.
No, we're taking a break. We're taking a break next week. But speaking of breaks, we're going to kick it over to a word from our sponsors.
Oh, Jake, the holidays are sneaking up fast. It's not too early to get your holiday shopping done and actually have fun with it while you're doing it, because Uncommon Goods makes holiday shopping stress-free and joyful, and there are thousands of one-of-a-kind gifts that you can't find anywhere else to suit even the most fickle members of your family.
Yeah, so Uncommon Goods essentially, like, they search for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade in the United States. Now, for me, just going on their site, it's kind of like a good thought starter, because they have so many different weird, quirky, creative things that you wouldn't normally think of, that like when I don't know what to get someone, I just start kind of perusing through there, and it's very organized and very curated. And I found some great stuff. We've actually been enjoying a lot of their products for a minute, right?
We have. So I have actually been a user of Uncommon Goods for a long time, because like you said, it's just super easy as a great thought starter. Like, kids in my life, they have these great plates that are themed, and the knife and spoon that the fork and spoon that come with them are like little diggers. And so I remember I gave that to my friend's child, and he absolutely was obsessed with it. I did some Christmas shopping for myself, because you know what? I deserve a little gifty gift. And I'm not sure where in the episode this read is going to be, but this entire episode I've been rolling my feet and like actually relaxing my feet. But also I'm really interested in starting gardening. I really want to grow a garden. And so they had this awesome seed grow guide and some seeds so you can grow like veggies for yourself. And then I thought, hey, well, my friend is really into her plants at the moment, and so I picked her up a little sun lamp to have inside. And so it's just great because they always have different sections for different things that people like. So book lovers, people who like games, kids, teens, people who are interested in mixology, making cocktails, interior design, all this kind of stuff. It's great.
And when you shop there, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses, because a lot of this stuff is like handcrafted products. I got a weird candle. Look at this weird candle I got.
Ooh.
I also got these. Yeah, it's like a timer candle. Like it'll keep going. Like, this is all wax. It's really cool. I also bought these cool rocks for my garden that look like little ghosts. They're like little hand carved ghosty boys. So really, really good stuff. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they actually give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. And they've donated more than $3 million to date too. So it's a win-win.
So shop early, have fun, and cross some names off that list today. You can get 15% off your next gift. So go to uncommongoods.com/friends. That is uncommongoods.com/friends for 15% off. This is a limited time offer, so do not miss out. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode.
We're back, and now we're going to kick to something else. A great conversation that Lucy had with some folks from Double Hind. Double Hind. They might have double behinds, but they're double fine. Tim Schafer and Lee Petty talking about their newest joint, Keeper, aka the Spooky Lighthouse game. So let's run it now.
Hello. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. This is quite nice. This is the new Friends Per Second. It's us three.
Yeah.
I like it. It's intimate. It's cozy.
It's a higher rate of friends per second. Like more dense friends per second.
Yeah.
But
all geographically local for a change, which is quite nice.
So we're the San Francisco friends per second.
Exactly. We're the West Coast Friends Per Second. But no, thank you for joining us. I want to start, before we really get into kind of the ins and outs of Keeper, I want to take a step back a little bit and just talk about how, in this current climate of game development, did you guys get to make a game about a walking lighthouse?
We lied.
Yeah. We pitched it as a Forza or a Halo killer initially. That didn't go over well.
We made the gun invisible at the last second.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that is one of Jake's like favorite things. Is what if X character had a gun? Mm-hmm. What if the lighthouse had a gun?
It just keep falling to the ground because the lighthouse has no arms to shoot it. Yeah.
That's true.
And then it looks down sadly at it.
What if Twig had a gun?
Twig, go get it.
Twig is more of a knife character. Like to get up close to see the victims, like more of a
pretty stabby bird.
Yeah.
But no, so going back, what were the initial inspirations for Keeper? What was time frame in terms of the studio? When did production really start to ramp up on it?
Lee will tell a lovely story, but I'll set some of the context, which is that we had been acquired in 2019 and we shipped Psychonauts 2 in 2021. So this was now, okay, that was a game we started before acquisition. Now that we're in this position of being part of Xbox and being not going out of business every 3 months, what's our new funded, what are we going to do now? So Lee, now that's where Lee was like thinking, actually, I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah. All right. A lighthouse. Yeah. No, I mean, there's kind of like two stories there, right? There's a sort of inspiration for the game, and then just thinking about like where we as Double Fine sit within, Xbox game studios. And I think, the inspiration for the game came from the pandemic, and I often retreated to hiking a lot and being outdoors a lot during the pandemic. And that was just like a really meditative place for me. And I started imagining, kind of all these, like what's next for life and how would life continue to develop. And some part of that led to a lighthouse, which it's a kind of a hard connection. But I had this moment where I was thinking about, well, what sort of bits of humanity would be left over? And if those things were left over, would they just be backdrops, or would they be possessed? They'd have to find a new purpose for themselves, right? Because like the human world is gone, humans are gone. And I started thinking about a lighthouse as kind of an interesting metaphor for that, because, there's no ships to guide or anything. And how would a lighthouse change unexpectedly? I was like, well, what if it could walk, and it went on a journey to find like a new meaning for itself. So that's kind of like the very, very start of the idea. And I knew that, thinking about Double Fine and Xbox, like they certainly didn't, probably acquire us thinking that we were going to be like, a satellite studio for the next Call of Duty or anything. So, we were like, well, what can we offer that other studios they own maybe aren't? And I always like to think that Tim always says that, we really are creative led and we focus on new ideas. And so I think there's a little bit of like us testing, like, are they going to really let us make this lighthouse game? And they've been great partners with it. And the way we like to think about it is we wanted to create this shorter experience, like a 6-hour experience that took players on like a really fantastical adventure that they're not expecting, and surprise and delight them along the way, and just really be something refreshing and different. And I always sort of pitched it early on as like a palate cleanser, because it doesn't ask a lot from the player. You don't have to play it for 40 hours, but hopefully something that just resonates and sticks with people that they can kind of talk about and discuss with friends afterwards.
Oh, that's interesting. To go back a little bit when you said it was kind of born out of this, the isolation from everyone in the pandemic. Obviously the studio would have been isolating at that time. Everyone would have been working from home. What was it like making a game about, or at least what I took away from it was playing is like forging connection and, putting yourself out there. What was that like making it from home and then back in the studio? Because I got to come visit you guys last week, and it's so nice to see how friendly everyone is and how much everyone hangs out. And, it's a really nice culture. So I guess my question would be, what was were there two different phases of development in that sense?
Yeah, a bit. It was one, like we wrapped up Psychonauts 2 remotely, and that was a little different because it was a sequel and the game had already sort of developed creatively in-house, like with everyone in the same space. So it was kind of an interesting challenge, and we had developing something new that way. But we have such a great team, and everyone was really helpful. I think everyone knew there were little extra challenges when coming up with something really creative. So I don't know. I feel like we really collaborated and worked really well together. And so when we started coming back in the office more, and some parts of our team are like not local, so they're not coming in very frequently at all. It was pretty seamless for us. A lot of the challenges were just more about the sort of, how do you brainstorm with some people local and some people remotely, and how do you communicate and effectively when you can't just like look over someone's shoulder and see something on the monitor. So there's like a lot of that sort of just practical stuff, but creatively, I felt like people really got used to, brainstorming remotely or, posting more videos, which is like a kind of a boring thing to say, but, instead of like sending out reams of documents for people to write, people would often like be really quick. Like, I just recorded a little 2-minute video with my thoughts about this area. And I just noticed everyone instinctively will digest videos and respond to them much more than documents. So we just kind of became more video centric, I guess, if we weren't already like live with each other.
I was gonna say that's
trying to answer that all again, but use a lighthouse metaphorically.
Yeah, we just shine the light across the sea of remote workers.
Yeah. Ships are coming in blind.
I like how that you became like the video focused in terms of messaging, whereas I've become a voice note person because I just can't bear to type stuff again. Whereas, if you get a voice note from me, you get a jingle in it. So
I mean, yeah.
Do you sing them?
No, but I do like personal podcast time. I'll give him little jingles just to make it more interesting. Yeah. But let's talk about. You should. Hey, you can have that for free. I'll record one special for you. I was going to ask you about your approach to the gameplay itself. You said something you didn't want to be too demanding on a player, and I'm really interested about your approach to puzzles as well. Like when I came to the studio last week, you kind of mentioned it was like on the lighter side of things. You don't ever want a player to get stuck. In testing, how do you figure out what makes a good puzzle like that? Because you're the ones who are redoing that the whole time.
Yeah, puzzles are really tricky to test. I mean, I think, especially classic adventure games, they're really tricky for a lot of reasons. One is because of course, like once you've played it once, you're sort of spoiled to some extent, like, what's supposed to happen. But I also find that in a game like Keeper, where it's a wordless game and we don't use the HUD for hardly anything, it required us to have a certain level of visual and sonic fidelity, because a lot of the hints or guidance comes from the camera, comes from, the visuals, from the effects that kick off and the sound. And so you had to kind of have enough of that in place. So our approach was to try and get that stood up with that a certain level of fidelity, maybe more so than on other games we've made, but try to construct everything so it's pretty modular and flexible, even though we didn't want it to look modular at all. Like under the hood, the game is very dynamic, like nothing's baked down, like all of our lighting and environment and such is just all very dynamic. So we can adjust it pretty quickly. But yeah, like getting back to like the puzzle design itself, I think, one of the things we were after in this game was creating a certain atmosphere and mood that's maybe not so common in games, and think of the overall experience. And so we wanted puzzles because we wanted people to have meaningful interactions with the world and characters. So our puzzles were often kind of tied into communities or particular problems that had like an effect on the overall narrative or world state, more so than very mechanically deep puzzles that are just sort of almost abstract from the game world that are just overlaid onto it. And that meant that instead of like often setting up the puzzle with like a specific, HUD or dialogue or something, without words, I guess, without that, we sort of, we have the player almost just wander into the puzzle before even knowing it's a puzzle, and try to build that awareness, like almost in the middle of the puzzle, right? Where they're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm moving these blue things. I don't know why I'm moving these blue things, but then you see the result of moving the blue things. You're like, oh, that's cool. I helped that guy out. Like, oh, they're going to help me out. That's cool. I wonder what that means. And, maybe we'd echo some of those shapes and motifs or ideas later on for people to connect them on a more meaningful level.
Double Fine's always been, well known and well loved for the writing, performances. Was the idea for Keeper to be wordless in it from the very beginning, or was it, just what the hell would a lighthouse sound like?
Yeah.
Or did you write a bunch of dialogue and then record it and then cut it?
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say, I mean, it was mostly from day one, although the idea from the lighthouse too, I remember I had written for like a slightly earlier version of the game, I had definitely written a mission or a little part of a level that actually had, this is where the lighthouse first came to me, was like the lighthouse had gotten lost and wandered into a farmer's field. And the farmer, I'd written some dialogue, and the farmer's like, you got to get this thing out of my field. It's ruining the crops. And so you had to like escort it back to the ocean. And I think over time, I was just thinking, I'm like, well, that's fun. That's cool. But it's not weird enough. You know, it's not unusual enough. I was like, I love video games because you get to inhabit characters that you don't get to inhabit in movies or other things. It's like, why don't we just, the whole game, you're a lighthouse? That would be much more interesting. And I think, so, you know, yeah, part of it is, like you said, it'd be kind of goofy in a sort of feature animation way of all of our like weird characters were talking. But at the same time, it was ultimately for me, it was more about the mood I was after. I wanted to kind of create an experience that was a bit open to interpretation. And I think when I love writing too, and I love a lot of the writing we do at the studio, but you know, it engages like a different part of your brain than just the visuals and sound do. And I felt like it was more, I guess I always described it as like there was a certain type of quiet in the world during the pandemic, even though it wasn't a positive quiet in a lot of ways. There was like, and I just felt like I wanted to capture that about being in this kind of unusual environment, not sure, like, and also kind of have a dreamlike quality. And it felt like removing words and text was a better way to get that vibe.
God, yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. I remember in the pandemic, the moment that got me was walking outside and not hearing or seeing any airplanes in the sky.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the moment that I kind of always would go back to, was just how strange it was. Mm-hmm. And also the weirdest moment was going back to the UK where no one was masked up and everyone was fine.
Like, what is happening here?
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they made me isolate for 2 weeks, and I thought it was, you know, going to be like 28 days later, but no. Back to normal.
Yeah, the airplanes
know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
No. And I suppose as well, I mean, one thing I wanted to talk about here is that the legacy of Double Fine games. What to you both, having worked at the studio for so long, is like, what do you think it is that is the core, the heart of a Double Fine game?
Well, I mean, we wrote down like all these pillars for the company recently, and the number one thing was creativity, just to have idea of like, there's, you know, every company will put something different first, you know, and I think for us, our challenge is to just always be led by inspiration and then go for the ideas that are most creative, you know, and some people, you know, often attribute that with like taking risks. And I think it does feel like a risk, but I don't think it's actually riskier to do creative, original stuff. I think there's a lot of games that are really imitative of other games that are, you know, if something comes out successful and then everyone imitates it, those games are just as likely to be failures as anything else. You might as well do something that makes you feel creatively inspired and inspires other people. And in some ways, for us, it's always been the safest path because that's how we've survived, I think, by standing out in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lee, what about you?
I mean, all of what Tim said for sure, but I think of it too, just as a simple word I always think about is personality. You know, just and sometimes that means, you know, of course, making very creative games, but I think it's sometimes down to the details, just sometimes making a different choice than most people would make. It's not necessarily the better choice or the worst choice. It's just a different one. And thinking about, you know, where that personality is, like in Keeper, there's nothing in the fundamental game design that would like require us to have spent as much time as we did having so many animations and personality on side characters that you could completely ignore. But like that is absolutely in our DNA, and the animators are like, all right, so we're going to set up this little thing here, and then the level there's like, oh, well, we could add them later, and that would be, you know, implying they're part of this life cycle, and you know, but it's just like looking for that personality on all levels, whether it's, you know, sound or music or visuals and gameplay, and I think we're just so used to those entertaining those thoughts when someone comes up with that it excites the team to have those conversations and go for some of that.
Yeah, I love that. There's one particular sequence where there was a lot more action, I think, in the background than I was anticipating seeing. But yeah, spending time looking at everything, it was just very magical. It's very heartwarming. And yeah, as you said, like being personality, I think certainly among the stable of Xbox studios, you are the studio with personality, and the games are beloved and the studio has this legion of fans that have been with you for so long. I'm interested, like, what is next for Double Fine? Is there another project you are working on? Are you gonna become that Call of Duty support studio that I've been hearing all these rumors about? What's next? And, like, I suppose, do you have any words right now about just the current state of game development? Because it's been a really awful couple of years for a lot of studios, a lot of projects, and a studio like yourselves, which has been scrappy and survived for a very long time. Do you have any words for what we're seeing right now?
Yeah. I mean, for us, I can say that we have multiple projects going on, and we're doing other games, and it's all new stuff. We've said that, we're not working on any sequels, because we did some sequels, and now we're doing all new stuff. And Lee, you can answer the hard part of that question.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything that humans are bad at, it's predicting the future, which is pretty interesting. I think, it's been a rough couple of years from a developer standpoint, and there have been some great games coming out this year and last year, right? Like, I feel like the actual, like, passion for developing great stuff is as high as it's ever been. But it's been really rough. And I think the factors for that are kind of, like, numerous, and probably, my guess is as good as anyone else's. But in some cases, if you just sort of feel like, well, if you're doomed making endless franchises and sequels, then maybe just try something original and go for it. Just to some extent, like they always say that in art school, or you're developing art, so, like, stop worrying about comparing yourself to everyone else. Just, like, do what you're passionate about. Just go for it, and hope that it works out. And I think certainly there's some strategic ways of looking at which games we should make, but mostly we're just trying to do what we think we do best and that we're passionate for.
Yeah. Wonderful. I think that is a good place to leave it. Thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So is Tim Schafer nice? He seems nice, but I saw him once in real life and I got nervous.
Tim's lovely. They're both lovely. I mean, everyone I've ever met at Double Fine, and I got to go to the studio a couple of weeks ago, and I know you two are very envious, and I'm sorry for rubbing it in your faces. But they had an event at their office, at their studio, and we did a paint and sip. And so it was a really, really fun event. And no, everyone was lovely. That space, because we've been to a few development studios, and some of them, I don't know, feel, not as vibrant sometimes. It is very much a place to work with Double Fine. It was really colorful, cool. They had a room that was just blacklit, and they had cartoonists and stuff, and artists who came through would draw stuff on the walls in glow-in-the-dark paint and pictures and stuff, and it was really fun. And the game is great. I loved keeping it. I had such a lovely time with it.
Yeah,
I was also sick as shit. I had flu, and I will say Keeper was a really good sick game.
Okay.
It was a lovely sick game.
All I could think of is, I don't do drugs, but imagine, like, I'm going to assume that there's no better game ever made for, like, when you were, like, high or whatever than that.
We see, I would say
so fucking psychedelic and.
But that could also that could backfire on you.
Yeah, backfire big time, because it is very, very, very.
There is one part of the game, and I'm not spoiling or anything, but, like, the game does. When, like, you do a game and it's like, whoa, now we're going through a trippy part, and it's like does cool visualizers.
Exactly what you mean.
But this game did it in a way where I actually went, oh fuck! Like, I was like, whoa, okay, this is actually working for me. Like,
yes,
it does a lot of. For me, this game was all. I just finished it last night. For me, the game is all art. It's all visual. It's all looking at stuff. I felt not a lot playing through this adventure. I wasn't like, my heart wasn't really warmed by the lighthouse or anything like that. I didn't come away with much.
Yeah.
But I did think it was really gorgeous, and it was really cool to see this cool art on display. And for a shorter experience, like, I'm cool with that. If you show me some cool shit, I'm in.
That's the thing. Yeah. I found it very moving. The whole thing that they were saying is that it's a game obviously told without words. There's And I think, you know, a lot of that rides on the animation and music and tone and, you know, vibes. And I think they did a really good job. I felt maybe because, you know, I got 2 pets. I think I actually I took a lot of meaning out of the game. I think that I put a lot of meaning on the game, in the game.
Sure.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Where it felt, you know, like, I don't know, feelings of loneliness, feelings of putting yourself out there, feelings of finding a friend, feelings of losing a friend, feelings of change and the anxiety that can bring, but also the joy in which it can bring too. And I think, like you said, Jake, it's very art first, but I also like the fact that there was not this narrative and that I could put
your own
my own feelings into things. And I can't remember, for context, we recorded the interview last week. I don't think I got to ask this question. Maybe I did. I don't have a good brain anymore. But like, I didn't want to know anything about that world. As in, like, I didn't need to know the answers.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know, there were snippets of lore in the achievements. You didn't even have to engage with that if you didn't want to. But there are things that you could describe and things that you could put together if you wanted to. Or if not, those little statues that you could find, those little pieces of storytelling you could put your own meaning into. And so I liked it a lot. I think, again, I was very sick. And,
that's okay.
But it was nice because it was like not a brain switch off moment, but like a brain osmosis moment. I think that's how I would describe Keeper.
Interesting.
It meshed with feelings that I was having, latent anxieties, latent, you know, things, I don't know. It was, you know, how smell is such an integral part of memory. In a weird way, playing through Keeper would remind me of certain things that I had done in my life or experiences that I have had, and I ascribe my own meaning to the game in that way. And I think that makes it very powerful, and I don't think I've really had an experience like that.
Interesting.
With a game.
It's so funny because I think, I've kind of fallen in the same bucket as Jake, where I wasn't really like feeling a lot during this, but I definitely saw chatter from people who said that they were feeling a lot in this story. And I could sort of see some of the surface level aspects as to why, but I think that the way you frame it there, like, does make a lot of sense. You know, you're right. Like, I think it does have subtle moments which are telling these sort of micro stories or stories not even really the right word, but
micro themes almost.
Yeah, micro themes is a better way to do it. I think you're right. Yeah. And so I get that actually. It makes a lot of sense. And the one that I really resonated with was like, change. Like there's a moment toward the back end of the game where something changes, and I could definitely feel like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember when I've been in situations like that in my own life, right? Yeah. So I felt that in that moment. I didn't feel it across the rest of the game, but now, as I said, with you explaining it that way, I can definitely see how that has had such an impact on so many other people. Go on, Jake. Sorry.
I agree with that. I feel like one kind of theme I kind of picked up was kind of like empowerment almost, where you're very helpless and you slowly start to become empowered in certain ways, and the game would often take it away from you, and then you'd be like, oh no, and then it would do a really good job giving it back, but then also escalating it and progressively escalating you feeling empowered, and not by you getting like a new gun or something, but just in more subtle ways. But I like that escalation kind of in a way where you don't really see where it's coming. I always come back to Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. That game makes a left turn about halfway through, and the stakes and the visuals and the control scheme and everything gets bigger, and you go, oh wow. And this game had like little examples of that sprinkled throughout that kept me playing, essentially, where, you know, the puzzles are pretty simple. There is no lore really, unless you want to like read into it. It was that empowerment and escalation that kind of kept me going.
Yeah, I wondered how did you guys feel about like the more playable aspects of it in terms of like puzzles and exploration and all that sort of stuff. I personally kind of struggle with the camera.
Because it's guided.
Big time.
Yeah,
well, it's funny because it's two things. One, it's like old school tank controls, which is fine, but the perspectives they were using with those controls it sometimes made it hard to see where you needed to go.
Yes.
Because old school tank controls in like Resident Evil games, they would just kind of put the camera in the corner of the room and you kind of look down on it, or like you're walking down a corridor, not many options, right? But I think with some of these, you sort of move into a space and you just couldn't really know, you didn't really know where to go at that beginning moment when you're kind of trying to orient yourself, and you kind of press into a wall and you're like, oh no, that's not the way the controls want me to go. Do you know what I mean? Like I had a bit of that friction. But the more annoying one was when you were in those open spaces where you kind of can go in 360, but you can't pull the camera behind you. Like you can't turn the camera. You have to pull it behind you manually by moving your character. And
things
I'm like,
would be
what are we doing here?
unintentionally
Like,
obscured. Yeah.
I found that really weird and quite annoying. There were actually like a few instances where I just couldn't see what I wanted to see without like going out and then coming back in, like a fucking parking a semi-trailer or some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a weird choice. I really don't know why they did that. You could have just made the camera button, like the shoulder buttons, the camera buttons. It would have been fine.
I wonder if it's like maybe a memory issue, just like in terms of how detailed those environments are. Like I don't know. I was playing on a 4090 and my PC, I had to put it on high, not ultra.
Okay. I got so many crashes though. I will say that.
I didn't get any. I didn't get any crashes. I have like an issue with Unreal games. And I think it's just on my particular machine where if I leave something hanging on a pause menu for too long, it crashes. And it's only Unreal 5 that does it. So I didn't get
now you can deal with problems like that on the go.
Can't wait. Can't fucking wait.
PC gaming.
Yeah.
So how'd you guys feel about the puzzle side of things? Were you enjoying that? Or were you like,
I liked them because they were not too taxing, which I think really would have, like, with those annoyances, because I agree with you on the camera. At some faces, I would keep trying to change, like to move the camera and then having to remind myself that I couldn't do it, and that was frustrating. And I think if the puzzles were any more difficult, that would have been a way more frustrating experience. There were a couple that I got like stuck on for a little bit, but it was mostly a camera issue.
Yeah.
For me though, completing those puzzles and blasting light away at the wither, that's what it's called, elicited the same feeling in me as when you would put life back into the world in Okami. There's something just so satisfying about that.
Okay, yeah.
And so completing puzzles and then it leading to that great moment where the wither all goes away and nature comes back. Again, it's me putting my own feelings into this, but it reminds me of one of my favorite games of all time. And so, but it's not a completely frictionless experience. I completely
agree.
Yeah. Did you guys, without spoiling anything, did you guys enjoy how it ended? Where are you guys at with that?
I'm never really worried too much about the ending of these sorts of games because I feel like it's always about where I've been going. So the journey rather than the destination, So I would say I didn't really care that much. I think the moment for me that was most important was that moment of like change that we talked about. And I was like, oh, that's nice. That for me was the crescendo of the game, even though there was a little bit after that, which, kind of got a bit wild. So yeah, I again, I don't fixate too much on that for these sorts of experiences.
No, I agree.
Well, I definitely think it is worth playing. It's short and it showed me something kind of different. I also I live near multiple lighthouses, so I can like relate to a lighthouse.
Sure.
If you think about it, really makes you think. But I think Keeper is cool.
I liked it.
It is nice. Well, the last thing though, what do you guys think of the music? A bit of a weird choice, I thought, with some of the music tracks. Did you guys like it? I didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it. I was just like, oh, this is notable. Like, this is not what I would have guessed for this sort of experience.
It was not what I expected.
Yeah.
But I think like it didn't
kind of faded into the back and you kind of just, it's like that percussive.
Yes.
The one thing I did like about it though, and this is going to be like a weird cut, but it had that like kids toy piano key twinkling from like a Mark Mothersbaugh, like Rugrats type soundtrack.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You're very specific thing, but like I appreciated little unique things like that throughout.
Good point.
Imagine if Mark Mothersbaugh did the soundtrack. Well, he did The Sims 2.
Oh, that explains a lot. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get him back into gaming.
Like brain blasted me.
Get him back into gaming.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Keeper. There you have it.
There it is.
Next up, we got another word from our sponsors. Be right back. Hey, this podcast is brought to you by True Classic. True Classic is important to us, to me in particular, because I love a good t-shirt and they provide a quality one. True Classic is like all about helping guys show up every day with confidence and purpose. And it sounds crazy, but that starts with a good quality t-shirt and good quality clothing items. Lucy, you've been engaging with True Classic quite a bit, right? What are you rocking?
I am engaged with True Classic. No, that's the thing. Obviously, this is a menswear brand. However, I have been getting, we obviously got some True Classic in to try it out. And man, these sweatpants, my secret, people, I'll never tell. My secret is I actually wear the True Classic sweatpants the whole time. They feel so buttery soft. They are the most comfortable sweatpants that I own. And, you know, like this is just my takeaway. But like in terms of the t-shirts as well, over 25 million shirts have been sold to 5 million customers. There are over 200,000 5-star reviews, so you don't just have to take my word for it. However, you should take my word for it because at least the sweatpants are incredible.
And with the t-shirts too, like the fit is so important. I don't think people like realize how poorly a t-shirt can be constructed and how unflattering it can be. True Classic definitely has that figured out. Like no bunching, good quality fabric that isn't stiff. It's just a good, simple product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and True Classic is built for comfort. It is built to last and built to give back. You can find True Classic at Amazon, Target, Costco, Sam's Club, or you could head over to trueclassic.com/friends to try it out yourself. So head over to trueclassic.com/friends to try out those t-shirts for yourself. Thanks you, True Classic, for sponsoring this episode.
All right, so in between recording and in our little group Discord thing, you guys keep talking about a game called Ball Pit or Ball X Pit, Ball Cross Pit. Devolver Digital, I think they said specifically it's Ball Pit, not Ball X Pit. But I'm going to call it Ball X Pit. So what is this game?
I don't care what it's called.
What the hell is it?
So long as it gets outlawed. Okay, that's the thing. As long as it's deleted from sale, it has to be delisted. It has to be destroyed.
What do you mean?
It has to be
cast it into the fire. Okay, it's too much. It shouldn't exist.
Why? I need to set up parental controls on my Steam account to stop me from accessing this game.
Is it addictive?
I spent 17 hours in this game in the last day and a bit.
Damn.
Day and a bit.
I thought I was bad with 7 in the last 24. I've been in the office for 2 of those days, man.
It's like I was just like, oh, I have 5 minutes free. I'll boot up Ball X Pit. 17 hours later.
There's so many other games right now we have to cover.
That's the thing, right? Like it's absolutely KO'd my productivity.
Jake and I were hanging in this call waiting for Ralph, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll start at 15:15. Ralph rolls in a little bit late.
No, because we were literally, this is what happened. Lucy, we're meant to start at 11. Lucy sends a message to the Discord being like, oh, do you mind if we start 15 minutes later? And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, baby. One more run, Ball X Pit, let's go. Like, oh my God, seriously, it's so bad. It's
so what is it?
Actual crack. Okay, so how would you describe it? There is a game. I haven't, is it called?
Blasters?
Ball Breaker? Is it Ball Breaker? I don't know what it's
called.
Ball
Breaker, I feel like would be Brick Breaker.
Ball Breaker is a perfect name for a game. Hey, why are you breaking my... Anyway, Ball Breaker? Is it Ball Breaker?
Well, Block Breaker is the mobile game.
Okay,
it used to be on BlackBerry. Oh, it's Breakout. That was the name of the original game. Breakout.
Okay, right, sure. Okay, so it's like, just imagine you're firing off little balls and you need to shoot out, like you need to shoot targets in the distance, right? And the balls, they bounce back at you when they hit something. But if you can get them in behind a group of targets, they're just going to keep bouncing on their back and they're going to do a lot of damage before they eventually make their way back to you, right? So that's it. That's the whole fucking game, right? Except that's obviously not the whole game, right? There's 12 classes or 12 characters that each have different things that they do, right? So for example, one guy will fire the balls from the back instead of from the front. So they strike the back of the targets first and then they make their way down to you. Another one where, the balls will do 5% more damage each time they bounce. So instead of firing directly at your target, you will probably fire at the wall first to get it bouncing as many times as possible before it hits.
Okay.
Another one, the balls all pierce the targets. They go straight to the back, which sounds like it'd be really good and really easy, except when you've got like a boss in front of you who needs some proper frontal damage, and then all your balls are caught at the back, bouncing around on all these little jerks, and the boss isn't taking any damage, right? There's one that has like a shield that kind of you can bounce the balls back, and every time they bounce back, they do more damage. And if you can bounce, it's kind of like playing Pong at that point because he's got this big ass shield. If you can get those balls bouncing, they will just shred everything because those balls aren't meant to be bouncing that many times. So I've unlocked, I think.
Hang on. So then there's that layer.
Oh yeah, and then
hang on. So then there is the Vampire Survivors. Always little bits of gems on screen to collect. You level up. You level up
So
your character stats. But then you also, again, like Vampire Survivors, collect different abilities. You get a 3 that you get to choose from. You get to level those up 3 times. Then what you can do once you've leveled them up 3 times is you can fuse 2 of them together.
Yes.
To make it more power. He's downloading it right now. He's downloading the game right now.
I can see it, right? He's getting his Roger ally. That's right. Thank you, Xbox.
So then you have these fused abilities as well as these passives, and the passives are so good. Like the little guys who come up and heal you, but they go up.
Sure.
Or the guys that like little turrets that appear, or take less damage, do more damage.
All the roguelike shit you expect from Vampire Survivors. Yeah. Okay.
So then you finish a level. You finish a game. It takes about 15 minutes. Then, Jake, you get booted back. There is town building.
There's town building. And
it's the coolest.
And it
I love town building.
In between.
No, you don't understand how good it is. It's so fun.
Don't tell me that.
Jake, it's Peggle, Jake. To get the buildings built, you have to fire your guys at them like fucking Peggle.
What the fuck?
To get them to finish construction, and then that gives you bonuses like to your stats that you take into the stuff. It's so good.
They're calling it the greatest game of all time, and they're absolutely right.
The streets are saying it's the greatest game ever made.
They're calling it the greatest game.
No, seriously, it's crazy. Like, it actually is a remarkable video game. Like, it's incredible how good this video game is. Like, it's so unbelievably addictive, but like not just addictive like in a kind of like cookie clicker kind of way, like number go up. Like, there's mechanical depth to it. You
have to be engaged with it too.
Totally. Vampire Survivors, you just kind of walk around like a giant, like a one of those little Roombas that you just kind of steer the Roomba and it sucks everything up and off you go, right? Yeah. This one actually has mechanical depth because you need to shoot the thing and you need to like understand the talents of your guy and what they can do. Positioning, and then obviously like understanding the upgrade paths and how to maximize those. And then the town building thing is like this whole thing where you have to plan out, because you're bouncing town people off resources to collect them and also off buildings to build them. So you start constructing a town that's almost like this kind of funnel, like a chute or like a set of corridors that specifically bounces as villages as many times as possible off different resources and things. So that's there, and that's fascinating. And then like even the way you position your buildings is clever because some of the buildings provide passive benefits in different ways. So when you're logged off, you can still be farming resources because you've built like a little thing that will automatically harvest forest nearby. Or if you have a character, they have a house, right? If you put that house next to another house, your character will now get bonus experience when you're on your run. So your whole town layout is influenced by passive regeneration, XP boost, like how well stuff bounces off each other, all sorts of shit. Like just the town planning alone is its own fucking 10 out of 10 video game. It just happens to be bolted on to another 12 out of 10 video game.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. It's legitimately unbelievable.
I went around to my friend's house the other night and I just started playing it. And I, because they told me, did not move for 3 hours.
It's so
and I just sat motionless and just kept playing. And then we did the same thing last night. We were watching Bake Off and I was just sat there. Yep. I was still engaged in the conversation. Don't get me wrong. I still was having my little jokes, my little quippies. And then at the end, I said something like, Man, that was really good. Like, I did a lot today. I was really proud of it. And my friend Andrew was like, "Oh, that's great, Lucy. What else did you get up to?" And I was like, "No, I just meant in ball pit." And I was like, "Yeah, I just actually meant that I did a lot of bosses that I've been really working on." Because that's the thing. Once you go in, when you are playing the block breaking bit, you are collecting blueprints that are extra buildings that you can build in your town too, and so it'll tell you how many blueprints you have collected in terms of like, hey, there's 2 blueprints left to collect in this level. So you go in with a different character. It's just good, man. It's very good game.
It's so bad, man. And like, honestly though, it's so dangerous. Like, it's like, because I enjoyed Vampire Survivors and I really played it, but this is like a different level. Like, this is because also Vampire Survivors is just like a novel concept that's like, this is fun. Like, you know, it's clever in its own sort of way and its simplicity and whatever else. And, you know, full credit to it, obviously. It's an incredible game. But like, I think this one is just so much more interesting in all the ways that all the things that it's doing are so novel and just so smart. And it's been so play tested as well, because even things like you get a bonus coin, like bonus gold for choosing certain characters on certain runs, which naturally incentivizes you to, you know, try different characters and whatever else. There's another thing where, like, when you're doing your
boards.
Say again, sorry?
It's got leaderboards.
It has leaderboards. Yep. Some of the leaderboards seem a bit bugged though, because people are completing levels in like 1 second. So I think they're being. Yep.
I'm just going for my friend's leaderboard, but I'm just like.
But even like the town building stuff is clever because you have to pick up stuff, but you can actually like drag and drop a cursor and like reposition large portions of buildings. So even the town building stuff is very intuitive and again very like user tested and whatever. So huge amount of work has gone into it. It's just. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's definitely one of the best things I've played all year. It's like I'd be surprised if it's not in my like top 5 game of the year this year. Like, it's just that level of just incredible game design and addictiveness and color and personality, and the music is so good. And the enemies chant on screen like the Urukai when they're getting close to you to like psych you out. It's just everything, man. It's so good.
Holy shit!
Can we stop talking about it because it makes me want to play it?
That's how it is, man. That's how it is.
I was playing it at work today. I was like, I got 15 minutes on my lunch break.
Is this going to pull me away? Lucy, is this going to pull me away from, because you last week clued me on to Megabunk.
It is a better game than Megabunk.
Okay. All right.
I've seen that as well from so many people who have played both, because I haven't played Megabunk yet. And they're like, Megabunk is just 3D Vampire Survivors, right?
Yes, it is.
A little more movement. A little bit more movement going on.
The thing about Megabunk, which it shares with Vampire Survivors, is that you are wandering around kind of aimlessly to find places to uncover treasure and whatever. Whereas in this, it is straight line. You have a meter at the side that tells you, you know, like when the next boss wave is coming. So in terms of a more linear, like distilled linear experience, this is it.
All right. I'm sold.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, guys. Just what I needed right now on top of Outer Worlds 2 and whatever releases next week, and then Black Ops 7 and all these other games to crunch through. Arc Raiders, yeah.
And speaking of Arc Raiders, that's actually a neat segue for us to move to our next block. We've done an interview. Well, when we say we, I mean I. Due to time zones, it was very difficult for the guys to be here. It was 2:00 in Sweden. It was like midnight in Sydney, or 11:00.
It's 5 a.m. for me.
5 a.m. for you, so that's a bit much. But I got the chance to speak to Aleksander Grondal of Embark Studios. He's the executive producer on Arc Raiders. So he kind of is project head alongside the game's creative director. They kind of run the ship together. Really fantastic chat. This is not the first time I've spoken to him, because, you know, I've been like keeping track of Arc Raiders for a long time now. Like you know, from the minute that they sort of put it out there, I was like, that was on my radar when it was a PvE game. And then obviously it made the transition to PvP, and I was quite skeptical, but I gave it a go, and I'm like, this is actually pretty interesting. It's only gotten better and better since. They just had their Service Slam this past weekend where they had some really strong player counts, a lot of really positive feedback, just a lot of really good buzz around this one. And so we talked about a whole bunch of things. We talked about the Service Slam, we talked about development, we talked about the games they're inspired by, we talked about Marathon, and their thoughts and his thoughts on that, and you know how Embark's feeling about that, given obviously Bungie are making an extraction shooter too. That's kind of a big deal. So really great chat, and we'll kick over to it right now. Aleksander, how you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. I'm exhausted, but feeling pretty energized after the Server Slam weekend, which was both terrifying and exciting at the same time.
Tell us about Server Slam, because I remember seeing some numbers and I'm like, damn, there's some big numbers for a Server Slam. So, this was an open beta. Anyone could download. It was no invites, correct?
Correct. So,
okay, right.
So the objectives with Server Slam was to just kind of twofold for us. We wanted to make sure that we had, some full technical pressure tests on the game to make sure the game ran as expected. And the other one was to give some players that didn't have the chance to get their hands on previously to get the chance to play the game. And even though in a slightly more focused fashion, as it wasn't the same type of test as the previous one, much shorter and focused around there's the opening experience and one map.
Right. Okay. So there's one map there, and how many maps will there be at launch?
There will be 4 launch day.
Okay.
And there's rumors.
There's rumors. Are there rumors? Really?
There's always rumors. There's rumors of a place called Stella Montis.
Okay.
But the Raiders of Speranza haven't really figured out how to get there yet.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I wonder if they will.
Wonder if they will.
Mm-hmm. What percentage of the total game offering would we have seen if we played Server Slam this past weekend? Do we see 10% of the game? Did we see 15, 20? Like, where are we at, you think?
So from the maps perspective, you saw like one of our kind of 4 starting maps and a couple of the conditions that could run. So we had the Night Raids, Queen, we had the Electromagnetic Storm, a couple of different variants of the map dam. When it came down to progression, that was very short progression. I think it capped out at around 5 hours. There wasn't really much more to do after that, and of course, there's a lot after that you can do. A lot of things to unlock, a lot of enemies to defeat, quests to complete. So that I would say, from a progression perspective, that was only 10 to 15% of what the game is.
Mm-hmm.
And some features weren't even present at the Server Slam itself, because they are features that come later in the game experience. So they were a bit unnecessary to have there.
As in, like, later post-launch content, or like they'll be there day one, but you got to unlock them?
Yeah, exactly. They will be there day one. So there's a feature called the Codex. So, for instance, we have a pretty rich and interesting world, we believe, and we would like the players to have a way to collect all the information about what's going on in the world in the Rust Belt. So there's a codex where the player will accumulate information bits about different arcs, the different people who live in Speranza, the story that unfolds. So you'll get to kind of revisit that repository whenever you want and read up about it and what's happening. And it's not just like one entry. There's like multiple entries on the same topic. So things actually evolve a bit over time as well.
Sure. Okay. Cool. So we know the Steam numbers. This test was also running on other platforms, correct?
Yeah. So
have you revealed how many people participated in Server Slam in total yet?
No, we have not.
Okay. Would you like to do that now on this podcast? Right here, right now, we'll get an exclusive?
No, I cannot do that. But I can give you some other stats from it.
Sure, please.
So we had about 29 million visits topside. So you can try to back calculate from that how many raiders there were. And we also had an event that was playing, which is the Queen event and the Harvester.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an event that is kind of tailored towards more focused around some sort of almost like a boss fight. And defeating the Queen is pretty hard. So I believe there was only 74 defeats of that Queen, but she killed around 108,000 raiders in the process.
I remember I was one of those raiders, not in this test, but in the other test, I fought the Queen, and I was like, I'm not meant to be doing this yet. That was the vibe that I got from that fighting the Queen. So that's cool. That's very exciting. No, well, I mean, it's been great to see such a positive response to it. I mean, obviously, because I played it a long time ago, like a long, long time. I played it like sort of alpha phase.
Yeah.
And I remember from the start just thinking to myself, there's something really interesting here. Like it was early, but you could like really sense it. And then I remember when I played the first alpha test, I was like, okay, this is definitely on its way. I think it really clicked for me is when I did that first public test. And I was like, whoa, okay, they finally clicked it all together. This just looks fucking awesome. I played like the entire weekend nonstop. It was just a really fantastic time. And I think there's a lot of cynicism when it comes to sort of extraction shooters and whatever else. And people are like, there's so many of them, or they're not for me, whatever else. But I think that the response that I saw from a lot of people was that like, hey, I didn't think this would be for me, but actually it is for me. I checked it out and I really enjoyed it. So what kind of feedback were you getting, and what are you seeing most commonly from, people who participated in Service Slam or different technical tests, etc.?
So it has changed a lot, as you mentioned as well, like over the course of those tests that we have run, both the more internal one, which wasn't public facing, and the more public facing ones. So I guess it's worth mentioning that it's been going on for quite some time, this game. Yeah. And so in the beginning, I felt like when we announced that we did change the game, there was more resistance to the idea of extraction shooter. There was more people feeling that we were just jumping onto the bandwagon. And to be frank, the first test we did was not great. The results we got was not great. They pretty much showed us what we needed to improve pretty clearly. So that was far from a home run already at that early stage. I mean, it had some good points for sure. That wasn't we weren't worried in that way, but we had a lot of work ahead of us. So we've been pretty systematical about addressing the things that the feedback that we have received about extraction shooter and our ambition to make that a bit more approachable for players, and also try to bring in some new elements to the genre itself, which we felt like we were more familiar with in world building and things that immersion, things that we have been working on for a long time before we even started at Embark here. So we felt like we can bring some new things to the table, and we've seen the feedback consistently improve over the course of these tests. And the last public test we did was almost a bit surprising to us about like how people saw what we were doing and took it to heart, and that was a very humbling experience, and also good. It also felt good, obviously, and Server Slam, even though in its limited fashion, kind of showed the same results. That people are excited, they want to play the full experience. They see what we're doing, and they're appreciating what we're doing. And I think. In a way that it surprises me, quite frankly. But I can see people when they post their when they post videos online about their journeys, about the different stories that this game can create for them. And I find that very inspiring, because that's obviously not something that we planned and designed for. It's more the players can choose to interact with other players in very new ways.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I definitely have experienced that myself. Like that stories, like I think that's the sort of magic of the extraction genre, where you just every extraction can become this like epic moment, and you see all these clips online of people and the shit they do, and crawling to the extraction point and climbing up to the keyboard, and like just a really cool kind of idea. So I mean, I've had a really great time with it. I didn't get to play the Service Slam, unfortunately, because I was just busy doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Curious though, that one piece of feedback that came through from the community is just a question around visuals and yeah, whether or not they've been changed in this most recent test. Has there been any kind of like visual downgrade for the game more recently? Like, do you want to respond to that? Because there's a lot of chatter about that right now.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's fair. I mean, some people did like an A/B comparison, and there's a difference there. And so there's a couple of things going on, to be frank. First of all, we've been optimizing the game quite heavily. We have a pretty ambitious optimization for low spec. We want to make this game to be able to be played by a lot of players. So what happened since the last test is that we've been pushing some of the settings down, the default settings. So if you, based on your hardware, we would choose a little bit more conservative settings. for PC users, and some other things like details and scatter has also been changed since that. So, but we are looking into there was some bugs in there as well that was unintentional. So we are looking into tweaking and striking the right balance between the image quality and the performance. And of course, for anyone that is a PC player, you're more than welcome to tweak the settings according to your personal preference. And I would recommend doing that for all PC players, to try to find the right balance between what, how responsive do you want the game to be and versus the level of detail.
Sure. So there were some changes made to visuals, but some of them, there was also some bugs in the mix there. You're trying to nail it down, and you're looking to make further changes in future so that people with more performant hardware can, go for their life.
Yeah, so this affected mostly the people on lower spec machines, but there was some bugs on the high spec machines as well. And so yes, so they're correct in pointing it out, and that's kind of the point of doing tests like this. It wasn't intentional in any way, more of a side effect of trying to make the game more performant and trying to make the game run as good as we possibly can.
For sure. Winding right back, because obviously many people watching this or listening to this may be aware of Arc Raiders, maybe not. If they are aware of it now, they're probably aware of it as an extraction shooter. But obviously it didn't start out its life that way. It started as something different. And I'm just curious to go back to that moment where the team sort of turned around and said, well, actually, we're not making that thing anymore. We're making something totally different. What caused that change? Because before you were doing like a PvE looter, right? And then, so yeah, what was the moment where you guys, okay, that's it, that doesn't work, let's try something else?
So I wasn't part of the team since the beginning. So actually, I was brought on board right before we did that change. So you could say I was probably a reason for the change to happen in the first place. But me aside, the reality was that the game that we built when I first started here, it wasn't consistently fun. It certainly had some really strong moments and cool to be fighting these large robots. But the problem is that when we kept coming back to the game again and again and again and trying to grind and make it didn't really gel in the way that I think that you or any other players would have found any fun. So the product wasn't there. The ideas were there and some execution were there, but there wasn't a game there in that I believe had the legs that it needs to have in this environment. So we started mapping out all the weaknesses and strengths of the game, and I made this massive Miro board, which is like a way, put out posters virtually with everybody. And we were trying to kind of take, okay, where do we take this game from here? And we knew that PvP probably had to be part of it, because a lot of our DNA comes with PvP, and we felt like too much focus on the PvE isn't as on the robots themselves. Only focusing on them is basically the same problem we've been having all along. So we knew we needed to make this game about something that was PvPvE. That came clear pretty early. So we mapped out all the strengths, and we wanted to keep as much as possible. So Arc Raider was already announced. The IP was out there. It had an interesting world, and people really resonated with the characters and the visuals and the themes around it. So we knew we wanted to maintain all the positives, but then letting go of some of the focus on the negative side. So a lot of us were big fans of extraction shooters. And me particularly, but also Stefan, who's the creative director. Both me and him and a few other people have been spending too many hours playing extraction shooters and other survival games, by the way. So we were really fan about the mix where players and Arc is kind of, or players and AI meet. That was something that is magical in our opinion, and still think has not really come to its full potential, even today. And so we felt like this world wanted to be explored. Like we were walking around these derelict buildings, and I said, what happened here? And I was walking around these empty hallways, and I felt like there's a game here that is about like what happened to this world, and there is a danger and a sense of tension that we want to capture and put in here. And it became pretty clear that going for a model, an extraction game, was a way for us to achieve all the things we wanted for the IP, and we felt was the right things for us. We really felt strongly about there was stories to be told in this world, and the ways for players to find out what happened, who's living here, what is the arc, why are they here, and a lot of interesting things around that. Together with other players and the AIs themselves, there was a mix that we knew that we wanted to go for, that on the extraction shooter side. But we also knew at that point that we didn't want to build a game that was super hardcore either. We knew we wanted to build a game that was a bit more approachable, because some of the tension that you can get in those games is so good, and we believe that some of the games are so difficult that feeling, on the tension that you can get from playing some of those games, is something that I don't think many players will get to feel in those games. So we wanted to make sure that we could build a game where other people also could get the sense of that tension and excitement that genre can bring to the table. So that kind of was the starting point, you could say, for the reset, as we like to call it.
Yeah. Well, kind of two questions fall out of that. Number one, if someone is not interested in PvP, and I think I know the answer to this, but if they're not interested in PvP, does Arc Raiders have anything to offer them?
Certainly, I would say so.
Okay.
So while PvP is a part of the game, the AI is also very much part of the game, and you can choose to some degree what your engagement level with the arcs and the players will be. I'm saying this, of course, because I built the thing, but you can also hear that echoed from some of the community feedback that we're seeing out there, that even players who didn't think they would like this sort of genre can go in there and get something, because the game has something around the immersion or tension, and being and meeting other players doesn't always end in conflict, for instance. So I would say it has a lot to offer. If you look at it at what it is, not necessarily using extraction shooter as a kind of a hand wavy, it's this type of game, but because I don't think it is, and I don't think the feedback says that it just is that either. So I would recommend you to kind of look at some of the creators that are out there and make up your own mind. But also, playing solo versus squads is very different. It seems more friendly when you're playing solos, actually. Interestingly enough, people seem to be more interested in helping each other while playing solo.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And there's no queue, there's no like PvE queue, is there? Like, you guys aren't offering that at launch, correct?
No,
like,
we're not.
No, okay. No, so as in, okay, right, fair enough. Just in case, right, cool. Okay, so now, second question that falls out of that is, you said that, story and world building is a very big part of what you're building here. From an extraction shooter perspective, though, you've said you want to make it more accessible. What are those things that make it more accessible? What are those things that are going to welcome in players who don't typically play the genre? Were there points of inspiration that you were looking at from other games that you wanted to pull in to make that happen? Or were there things you saw elsewhere and you're like, we don't want that in our game. That's too hardcore.
I think we looked at all the sort of standard features that you would need to make a game such as this work. And we started from that perspective, and then we thought we needed to build all these things. So we started implementing all these things, and then we said, so how do we make it more approachable? Would be something that we can look at when we sit in the game in our hands, because that's kind of what we do at Embark. We like to experience it before we kind of make judgment on it, instead of necessarily theorizing around implementation too much, as that seems to be that can be a never-ending story if you just repeat, never try something. But what we found out is that there's a lot of those features that we thought we needed that we actually didn't need. So the more we played, the kind of approachability of some of the features, how far does these features needs to go, it became apparent by itself. Almost, the game spoke back to us what it needed and what it didn't need. And the same thing from the players, by the way. Since we've been running multiple tests, we could kind of shave off certain parts and say like, actually, we don't have to go this deep here. This we can remove, simplify this, and still retain the core core kind of tension and the kind of deliberate gameplay that we were aiming for, and the immersion, of course. So that's one mechanical part of why we believe it's more approachable. The other part, we felt like the world is in itself more inviting, and we feel like the kind of colorful, bold take on the kind of post-apocalyptic future is something that invites players in. And there's looking at the images of the game has a certain aspiration to it, certain vibe, and I feel like that can draw people in as well. So it's a bit of a mix of between like what we feel was right, but also like what players were telling us was right.
Yeah, I mean, just drilling into this a little bit more, I notice you have a fairly novel approach to server wipes. So how are you guys? You want to make, just for anyone that doesn't know what that is and how you guys are approaching it, do you want to give us a rundown?
Yeah, certainly. So in many extraction shooter games, there's sort of a mandatory wipe where everybody gets reset some points during the year or at regular intervals. It's a good way to keep the game interesting and fresh, and for players to kind of re-experience the game again. So I think one of the issues that we had with that is that we didn't feel that every player had the chance to kind of to get to where they wanted to be in their progression before they got reset, and it didn't really feel like it respects the player's time commitment. And that's one thing that we discussed a lot. Is like, I think it's super important if you're playing a game that the game somehow recognizes the time you have put into it. It displays that back to you and awards you for it. And also we didn't want the players to feel like they had to play the game in a specific amount of hours every week, or like you need to be there every week to get everything. So we would like you to play the game at your own pace. So we implemented a system where a player can choose to take its raider on an expedition, which basically means we retire that raider and they get to start over. And all of the players that want to do this, they can choose to do that themselves. So they can send off their raiders, they get a new one, and they get to start their progression over. But if you just want to continue playing, that's perfectly fine as well. And if you want to get to an expedition later, you can choose to join an expedition at a later point.
So are expeditions kind of like battle passes in a way, or is it totally different?
So expeditions are basically your raider building. Building a device that can take you through the tunnels of Speranza. So in the world of Arc Raiders, there's massive amounts of tunnel networks that spreads out everywhere, and the Raiders doesn't even know where all these tunnels lead. That information is lost to the Raiders that live there. So an expedition in this case means that you're actually constructing your own kind of rail cart, and once that is completed and you put in a lot of supplies in it, it is your idea that your Raider then goes away and might never be heard from again. Who knows? Because there's other things that happens in the world. But you explore these tunnel networks with this cart, essentially. That's the So it's not a battle pass. It's more like a project that you build, you could say.
Okay, fair enough. I actually didn't know that part of it. That's really interesting. But basically, if someone wants to keep all their loot forever and they never want to get on that cart and go off into the dark tunnels, they can just keep all their shit forever, correct?
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can get all the way through the end of the progression, and as we will also add more things for you to do over time. So our goal is to basically, if you don't want to, you certainly don't have to. But if you want to, there's some bonuses that you can unlock by doing that.
Yeah. Tell me, were you ever feeling nervous during development when you started seeing like everyone making extraction shooters? It seemed like no one was making them, and then all of a sudden everyone was making it. Were you guys feeling like, did we miss the boat on this? Like, how are you feeling?
Yes, we certainly felt like we missed the boat on that one, because as we did the actual reset, there weren't that many games that had done, or have announced that they were building an extraction shooter. So like, we've taken a long time on Arc Raiders. So I know that doesn't feel like that maybe for people who are looking at the market, and there's a lot of extraction shooters now, but back then it really wasn't. And we felt like there was an opportunity to be an early entrant to the market, and it's a bit of a different one than the ones that were there. But we realized quickly that a rush to get to market isn't going to get the game that we wanted. And we needed to stay true to the vision that we had with the game, and give the game the time it needed to be as good as it possibly could be. So we have to stay true to our vision, and at some point we just stopped looking at the rest of the competition and just felt comfortable, but we just need to do this, and took. So we I guess you could say we put on some blinds from the market,
right,
and just decided it's like, this is what we're doing. Nothing else really matters now. Let's just focus on that.
For sure. Well, on that point, obviously, Marathon is a big extraction sci-fi shooter that's coming out in the next little while, and obviously, Bungie's a big studio, a lot of momentum behind that, big fandom. Obviously, Marathon's had its debut now. When you saw Marathon, what were you thinking? What did you take from it that sort of, you appreciated? Maybe things that you thought Arc Raiders was, doing better, or really sort of did it sort of validate some of your theses or whatever? Like, what was your overall response to Marathon when you and your team started playing it?
So first of all, I was a massive Destiny player, so I've been following Marathon for a long time, and I'm sure the qualities that Bungie can bring to their games is something that we can only be inspired by, trying to get to. Some of the the through the gun feeling and all that is they're just the experts in doing that. So I was very excited to see what they were cooking, and unfortunately I didn't get time to play myself. So my kind of view on Marathon was more probably informed by what the overall world sentiment was. It looks like a game that, in my opinion, needed some more time, and it sounds to me like that's what they did. And I'm pretty certain that they know what the big complaints were about that game, and they're actively working pretty hard on that. So I think we will offer quite different experiences. To be honest with you, I think we have a bit more of a kind of maybe, I don't want to say slower paced, but there's a different pace to the games, from what I can see at least. And we have a slightly different focuses as well, as the robots take a bigger place in our universe, and the looting and the exploration looks like it takes a bigger part in Arc Raiders. Well, of course I can't speak to everything that is Marathon, but I'm excited to see the changes that they're making, and I'm very excited to see when is it coming out? Do we know that now?
We don't know yet. No. Sometime next year, they said. Yeah.
Excited for it.
So on that point, you said, so do you feel as though Arc Raiders is a slower game? Because you said there's a difference in pacing.
Again, I haven't played Marathon, so this is just my impression.
Fair point.
But my impression feels like it's faster, combat paced, and it feels like you're faster into the action in that game, and it's more about around that part of the game. Whereas I think Arc Raiders is a bit more around like, how do you position yourself, and what combat do you choose to take and not take, maybe. And this is just my guess.
No, that's accurate. I played both, and I think that's a fair assessment for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm super stoked about their art style. They're a very different game than ours, and I think it looks amazing, and the style, will take it far. I think there's room for both these games, to be honest with. They will certainly have their own strengths and weaknesses, and it will have their own communities. I hope they both can thrive, because again, like I said earlier today, I think that the PvPvE mix thing still hasn't its full moment. So I think that there's still things to be happening around here, whether or not it happens in the extraction games or more on the survival game side, or wherever it happens. I'm certain it will certainly happen. That was a lot of certainty.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really curious about how you guys landed on this vibe that Arc Raiders has, because for me, that's kind of the biggest feeling. That's the biggest thing. Like, obviously, there's big robots walking around, and like the sound design is fantastic and whatever else. But just there's this feeling of immersion and atmosphere that's just like pouring out of Arc Raiders. Obviously, that's a conscious choice. You don't just arrive at that accidentally. So, like, what were the pillars that you were designing toward when you were thinking about how to create that vibe for this world? How did you get it so right?
There's a couple of answers to that. First, it's what the team wanted themselves. They wanted to be immersed. So a lot of this comes down from, so for the audio people, let's say Benzo, as our audio director, he wants to be immersed in this world, and he wants to kind of have audio be an important part of that. The same things for the environment team. They want you to be immersed in it. They want to tell a story, and they want to make the game stand out. And I think so that's one part on the passion about like driving immersion as part of the craft that you're doing and the craftsmanship. But on the other hand, it's about finding an identity of a product that isn't necessarily too adjacent to anything else that is out there, to make it stand out on its own. So the early explorations that were made around Arc Raiders, they knew that they wanted to do something that didn't feel too gloomy and uninviting, and maybe it's cool in its own sense, but we wanted something that felt a bit more optimistic, like the world, even in the world that the Arc Raiders is taking place. It's not the world that is gone to hell. It's actually the world that things have started growing again. It's in the post-apocalypse, but it's not in the kind of nuclear post-apocalypse. There is hope and positivity in this world. Yes, there are arcs, and they are dominating the surface, and for the Raiders, that's a massive challenge. But at the same time, you can see the world has gotten back on its feet after what looks like a pretty devastating blow to itself. So that was that. We also have some personal preferences here. So there's people who have like the characters you see in the background. I would say they're very much on our art director. That's very much his style. So I think there's a lot of personality here that comes through from the contributors as well. So it doesn't have like one answer. It's a bit more organic than it sounds maybe deliberate, and it is to some degree, but it also comes through the process of building the game. I'd say.
For sure. So tell me, you are now 8 days from launch?
Yeah,
is that correct?
30th.
9 days, 8 or 9 days? Yeah. So are you just like sleeping under your desk, just like 24/7? Like, how's it? What is a day in the life of Aleksander?
Oh my God, what is it? What isn't it? So I try to be at work as early as I can to get some of the administration work out. And then there's a lot of meetings. I review the software probably between 3 to 4 hours a day, where I play with stakeholders. So I am one of those people that just probably spends most time in the software and try to identify. And now in these finaling days, it's more about finding critical things, which actually I'm pretty good at finding critical things. For some reason, I have a nose.
Have you found any recently? Are you guys feeling ready? Like, are there any major red flags that you got to solve in the next 8 days?
So the Server Slam actually found a few interesting ones. We had the AI. It was basically able to see through any kind of vegetation. So people complained about some of the power of the flying drones. Yeah, well, that's because they saw you through the foliage.
Right.
So that's a bug that snuck in quite late. So that kind of stuff. No, it's reviewing with stakeholders, discussing what's next, the upcoming patches and updates to the game. Monitoring all the KPIs for the game and discussing with our marketing partners what we're going to do. So right now, every day is very different. And then I try to be home, meet my kids for a couple of hours, and then go back to work for a couple of hours, and then rinse, repeat. But I'll be honest, this game, I'm feeling pretty energized compared to some of the other games that I've shipped. So I feel good, even though I'm very tired. Nice. But it's all good.
So so launch day comes. Do you feel like the servers are going to be up to the task, infrastructure wise? Like, are you guys feeling?
Yeah, I feel good now. About that? I feel good after having run the Server Slam and identified those issues. But I was lying on my desk when we started seeing some of the issues on Friday last week. That was pretty painful. I'm not good at seeing things like that, and it gets me a bit panicked. But it turned out well. It turned out well.
Good. And obviously, the launch is just like the beginning, so to speak, and then there's all the post-launch. So, what are we talking here? Is it seasons? Like, what's the content cadence? Like, when's the next time we see something new for Arc Raiders after that initial release?
Yeah, so our ambition is to keep these updated on a consistent basis with new content, maps, and arcs, and quests, and all things, new systems and things. We have a pretty ambitious post-launch plan for the game, and we'll see. Maybe we'll see something before Christmas that has something to do with the mentioned Stellamontis. Okay. Maybe sure. There might be more arcs abound shortly, but definitely will be a couple of bigger updates before the New Year's, and the next year is kind of being planned out right now. So we'll have a roadmap that I hopefully we can go live with in a couple of days. I can explain this a bit more in detail, but things are a bit in flight still. As it should be.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's cool. And I guess final question is, Embark, it's, you guys are now a 2-game studio, not just 2 games, but 2 live service games. There's not many studios in the world that are 2 live service game studios. You've got the Finals, and now you're about to have Arc Raiders. How are you feeling about that? Is it like, did you steal all the people from Finals to get this done, and now they've got to go back? Like, how does the studio work going forward? And is there a potential for a 3rd game, or are you guys just like, nah, that's enough?
So first, the Finals team has been helping out on Arc Raiders, much like when the Final shipped, the Arc Raiders team helped out on Finals. We're a fairly small studio, so helping each other out is part of what we need to do here. But like you say, transitioning 2 games into 2 live games from being 2 in production games to 2, it's going to be a bigger challenge than I think for us. The Finals team has already done it, so they're doing pretty well now on their cadence, on the seasonal cadence. So we have a lot of things to learn from them. On the other hand, Arc Raiders is a very different game. It doesn't necessarily abide by the exact same rules. It's not a game that it is bound to seasons and season passes in the same way. So we want to keep a little bit of a more flexible approach for Arc Raiders for at least for the beginning, so we can find what's best for Arc Raiders in the live service. I don't think we have the answer, to be honest with you, about exactly how to run Arc Raiders as a live service, but I do think we have the pillars and the components that we need. We just need to kind of get in there and figure it out as we go. I think that's part of what makes this fun, though. It's like if people always keep telling you about what challenges that you will face, then why would you keep going and face those challenges? I think some of the challenges just needs to come, and you're just going to have to deal with them heads on, as on a challenge by challenge basis. Maybe it's a little bit naive, but I think that, to be honest, we wouldn't have built Arc Raiders if we weren't a little bit naive, and it would never have happened. I think you need some of that. Like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, of course we can do that. And if not, I don't think anything like this could ever happen. So it's kind of part of the process, I guess. They're going into the unknown and figure it out as you go.
Absolutely. And Embark getting a 3rd game, what do you reckon? Is that going to happen?
I reckon that that is possible, of course. I think, Embark never sits and rests on its laurels. I think it always has new ambitions to strive after. So I don't know, but we'll see in the future.
Sure. Yeah, cool. Well, Alexander, it's been really good talking to you, man. As I said, I from the very start, I was really interested in Arc Raiders when it was a PvE game, and I was skeptical when it made that transition to Extraction. But from what I saw early on, I was like very intrigued by it, and I thought, okay, there's something here. And now to see what it's become has been, pretty amazing, to be honest with you. I never could have anticipated it would end up something so compelling. I do like extraction shooters. Hunt Showdown was my weapon of choice. But yeah, I mean, there's just something to this one that really pops, and I'm very keen to check it out. I will be there on launch day for sure.
Appreciate that.
So good luck with everything. Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
And I'd love to have you back on a little while after launch to check in and see, did the servers burn down?
Or am I alive?
Are they still standing on it? You alive. That would be it. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time,
Likewise.
and all the best to you and the team.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by the thing that Lucy's holding up right now. Show it, Lucy.
Really awkwardly. I'm sorry.
Show it.
Yeah.
That's it. Let the camera focus. They're the Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classics. Raycon a little while ago did a refresh on their lineup, and they delivered a new Raycon with all new features, but it had a different profile, like a different design. And people are like, hey, that's cool, but we also really like the old design with a smaller capsule and a different fit in the ear. Can we get that one too? And so Raycon agreed, and they made it. So it's the Everyday Earbud Classic that has all of the new features with the old design that everyone knows and loves. What kind of features do they have, Jake Baldino?
That's the big thing, man. It is packed. Don't say my first name and last name.
Jacob Baldino.
It is packed with features, right? It has the 32-hour battery life with the charging case, but it has like a quick charge functionality. So 10 minutes of charge gives you 90 minutes of playtime, multi-point connectivity, noise cancellation, and like an awareness mode. These are features that usually you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for with like premium wireless audio brands, but you get all of it with Raycon.
For sure. They're really nice and affordable. I bought multiple pairs over the years, and they make really good gifts.
Yes.
My mother-in-law in particular is like wedded to hers. She does not ever really go anywhere without them. I always keep a set in my gym bag because just easy that way, like I just never need to worry about taking them out. I have more than one pair, so I kind of just leave them in there and it's fine. And because they're like, a more affordable option, you can kind of afford to grab one extra pair or afford to give them as a gift because, often earbuds these days, they're getting pretty pricey for some of the other brands, that's for sure.
And they come in a bunch of cool different colors. So for everybody, like little protective capsule cases as well. 3 million people have already been loving Raycon. And the big thing is they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. So it's worth a shot. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, and it is Raycon's anniversary. So happy birthday to Raycon. And instead of us giving them a gift, they're giving us a gift of 20% off. So if you head to buyraycon.com/friends, you get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. Thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring this episode. Colder nights, heartier meals. I want something warming and satisfying. And luckily for me, that's where HelloFresh comes in, because they are bringing comforting, chef-designed recipes with fresh seasonal ingredients straight to my door. And now they are taking things to the next level because they have their biggest menu refresh yet.
Yeah, it's like 100 options each week. It's insane. And it's been really good as just kind of getting your act together if you're not good at grocery shopping or staying consistent with meals. Here, it's perfect because everything just shows up right at your door, the ingredients, everything you want. It's fun to prepare. It's something good to do, especially if you're new to cooking. This is like good baby steps, but it doesn't feel like BS, But the biggest thing too is that healthier now. So you can feel great with an even healthier menu filled with high protein and veggie packed recipes. So you have a lot of choices.
Yeah. And there are these recipes with 2 or more veggies, but you can also get 3 times. There's way more seafood, 3 times as much.
I need my veggies. I need my seafood. I need my everything.
And again, so 3 times as many seafood recipes on the menu now at no extra cost, as well as you can get steak and seafood each week for no extra cost. And beef prices are going up, at least in America. So
yes,
hey,
so
I'm all for that. So the best way to cook just got better. Go to hellofresh.com/FPS10FM now to get 10 free meals and a free item for life. So that is one per box with an active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only, and it varies by plan. But that is hellofresh.com/FPS10FM, and you get 10 free meals and a free item for life. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode.
We are back with a bunch more games that we've been playing. We've been busy, gang. So who wants to go first?
We just talked a lot about Ball X Pits. I reckon you should go first.
All right. Oh boy. All right then. Hard mode activated because this is a tricky one for me. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, but I don't recommend most people play it.
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons. Because number one, there's the Vampire the Masquerade baggage, where this is not that. This is not really a good sequel to that. Original Bloodlines was a fucked up PC RPG. It had a bunch of issues, but it had a lot of really cool elements to it, and RPG fans really enjoyed it. This game is not an RPG. This game is like a pseudo fake RPG with like the illusion of choice, and it's essentially a very, very light Dishonored. And I say very light.
Yeah.
But like in terms of you doing some stealth, doing some basic first person combat, you can blink, you can use some abilities that are very cool. I'm getting into the weeds, but essentially for me, it's like this weird game that I really like the story. I really like the vibes. I really like the atmosphere. I was happy to play a vampire something. I also went into it knowing that it wasn't going to be a good sequel to the original game, because they've shown it recently, and like you very clearly could see the game and go, oh, they're not really making an RPG there, because the game has been through a lot. Different studio ended up working on it. So for me, playing it was kind of a fascination just to see what it was. And that was kind of like the enjoyment I got out of it. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Like it's clearly hodgepodged here and there. It's clearly messy here and there, cobbled together, but had some interesting things. It also kind of reminded me of like older games. So in kind of a negative way for most people, it is the Deus Ex to Deus Ex Human Revolution, where Human Revolution very much like, oh, it's still a Deus Ex game. You have all this choice, but it's nowhere near as like intensely detailed as the original was. And it does the similar thing.
Do you mean Invisible War, or do you mean
no original Deus
like
Ex?
The reboot.
Yeah, original Deus Ex to Adam Jensen.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Even in terms of like, it will do the thing where it's like, oh, you've been trying to play stealthy and you have a couple of like stealth attributes, and here's a boss that you just have to fight melee. Like there's it does that quite a few times.
Great.
But it on the positive side of that, it reminded me of like weird old like lonely games where you're wandering around like the snow-ridden streets of Max Payne 1, you know, in a blizzard, or just like the weird kind of janked up but fun first person aspects of like an Escape from Butcher Bay, or even like The Darkness, because The Darkness had a lot of wandering around and talking to weird NPCs and stuff like that. So it felt kind of like a throwback game to me, and also an interesting vampire one, because you're constantly coercing people to follow you into a dark alley so you can suck them off and get there. Sorry,
phrasing, Jake. Phrasing. Come on, man.
Suck them up.
Suck them dry.
Suck them dry. That was it. Thank you. So there's a lot of that. It's a lot of vampire stuff that I like, and where the game is at its best is just traversing around the city. So it's like a noir tinged snowy Seattle. Okay. And essentially it's like a small hub city that serves as like you get to place. You find side quests, you go to the next mission. So you're wandering these streets. And now because you have vampire abilities, there's the temptation to just do a super run or force jump and shit like that, right? But you have to preserve the masquerade. That is the whole idea of like the secret of the vampires. So you can't really push your abilities too hard when you're walking on the streets. Now, what it does encourage, which I found was really interesting, was like, as soon as you walk out of a building or you're walking down the street, you're constantly looking for like an alleyway and hoping there's no people down there. So you can instantly dart down that alleyway, jump and vampire climb up a scaffolding, and then get up to the rooftops where you're empowered to just run super fast, launch off a ledge, jump to the next, glide around like a spooky vampire. And I really like that. I thought that was really cool. So the game had a lot of that, and the combat is weird. I kind of like all the abilities, but the feel to it isn't always that great. It's got a lot of like repetitive finishing moves. It desperately needs a lock on. Enemies just kind of charge you and spam you with melee hits.
It's first person, right?
Yeah, it's first person. But when it's good, it's actually pretty sweet, because you can, telekinesis pull an enemy towards you, bite their neck. Then you can like telekinesis pick up a guy's gun, and then you're just holding the gun in the air and you're like making the gun fire at people. And then you can get like an ability where you just do one big vampire claw slice and cut off a dude's head. You eventually get the blink ability. You can kind of do a recall ability. You can make people's blood boil and explode. You can mind control people to make them fight each other. So like there is a lot of that cool stuff. It's just messy. So I liked unpacking a lot of that stuff, learning a lot of that stuff, but then it falls short with a lot of the other stuff. Like choosing your vampire clan doesn't really mean much, and it doesn't really, in the original game it was like an RPG thing where it was like, okay, I am this clan, I have all these attributes, I'm gonna have these types of choices. You don't really get that here. It's so much more surface level.
Originally 2 of them were going to be DLC.
Yeah, which also was like the
so
worst
wild
move
that they tried
possible.
to do that. That's really crazy.
Which also, because it's a self-inflicted wound twice, because on the one hand, like people are like, well, why wouldn't I be able to choose all the classes? But they're so threadbare that if I did pay for 2 of them, I would have been so pissed. I was like, why did I pay for this? Because a lot of it is like you have a skill tree that is the one, but then you can just earn and pursue and unlock skill trees of the other vampire clans. So a lot of it doesn't really matter anyway. And that's the problem with the game, is like all the little bits of RPG stuff don't matter, and it just feels like an illusion of choice. And I would have rather of it not had any of that at all, and just went all in on a very simple first person vampire combat adventure. Because when it does that, it's really good. And I like the story. I like the characters. I like asking these characters all these questions and learning about the Dark Universe lore and stuff like that. And there are campy characters. There are trashy characters.
Sheriff Benny Muldoon.
But yeah, Sheriff Benny Muldoon.
Benny Muldoon's
love him.
Intro is maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
It's also beautiful though at the same time, like with the way the neon was behind him. Wait.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I was
not when you meet him when you meet him on the rooftop?
First time. And the camera pans over and his character model is just crouching there for like a beat. And then he does this big jump in. He goes, hey, yo, I'm Benny Muldoon.
Yeah. It's got some style to it though. And it's got a very like weird vibe to it. And that is kind of why I gravitated to it, why I was drawn to it, why I kept playing it. It was because it just felt a little different than anything I had played recently. It's just got so many elements that are not great or really undercooked. So I feel like it's still going to find an audience. I just think like if you went out and bought it right now, you'd be like really disappointed. You'd be like, what the hell is this? If you're like a vampire pervert and maybe you really like the Dark Universe and like the Vampire the Masquerade stuff, you might like it. But if you were just a fan of the original game and was expecting a sequel to that, it's not that at all. What it is like a weird half-baked vampire game that you're either going to find some charm in like I did, or you're going to think it's a complete disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's sitting at 55% mixed on Steam. So like, 50% of the people who have bought this product liked it. They gave it a thumbs up. So, that's cool. But yeah, obviously it just seems like it's, just sort of using the IP to pull people in rather than actually trying to deliver on what that IP truly is.
It's a shame. And it would have honestly, so I've seen some people say, because your character, you awaken as an elder vampire. So it's kind of like how they're like, why you're so powerful and you're so special, right? And you also have this like legend behind you where you are known as the Nomad. And people refer to you a lot in the game as that. And a lot of people have been saying, if this was called Vampire the Masquerade Nomad, just kind of like its own Vampire the Masquerade experience, I think it would have been received better, because it's trying to, write the check that the original game made, but with no money in the bank account. That was a bad analogy, but yeah, you got what I mean.
Sure. For sure. Yeah, I will not play this. There's too many other things that I want to play right now, and this is not very high on the list at all. Had it really popped off and been like, yeah, actually they managed to pull it off, I would have been really keen for this, to be honest. I know that was a slim chance given the development of that game and what have you, but yeah, look, it is what it is. They went through hell to try to get out the door. They did the best they could. Clearly, it is enough for some people. It's definitely not enough for people who truly like the series. So yeah, it's a real bummer. But I'm sure this will be like the last Vampire the Masquerade game. No, that's not true actually, because this license is just kind of farmed out, right? Like we just get some of these vampire games from time to time.
Yeah.
Be the last Bloodlines game, I guess, but I'm sure we'll see other Vampire the Masquerade games.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how things. I mean, it was originally Hardsuit Labs, and now it's the Chinese room.
Mm.
And I was Still Weeks the Deep didn't like set the world on fire in terms of sales.
Yeah,
I don't think this is gonna do well. Certainly not for a game that's been in development for 7-8 years. Which
and like even too like the fact that it was so out there, like with the previous developer, it had been revealed. It even had like pre-orders and everything.
It was a completely different story too. So I just did a video at GameSpot about like here's everything to know. So it's fresh in my mind, but it's, originally it had the narrative director was the guy who worked on the original game. It was Hardsuit Labs. You were not the nomad. You were
like a thin blood, right? Yeah.
And so your mere existence is what sparks off the fighting, the infighting between all the vampires in Seattle. And then development changed. A lot of people, like pretty much everyone, left. They rebooted it. It almost got cancelled, and then they kept delaying this. And I played it at Gamescom, and even back then I remember thinking, I feel insane. Like I read positive previews coming out at Gamescom, and I was like, there could be something in there, but the actual product that was at Gamescom was not it. And playing the first 2 hours again, nothing changed.
Yeah.
And it was, I will say, Stu, if you've got it, the footage, it's the same, like there's so many repeated animations. And I know that is not like the make or break fucking thing. The animation when you suck someone's blood and their eyes bulge, I like, that was when I had to stop playing because I kept laughing at it. I was like, I felt bad. It just looks, and it's like, it's a miracle any game ever gets made at all, let alone one with such a troubled development as this. But the reuse of those animations, especially there's like one sneak kill animation thing.
There's one good finisher in combat. And the one good finisher in combat looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
The first time you experience it, you go, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. And then it's just that same animation.
The thing that got me is walking around that, and I remember saying this, is like walking around the building that you wake up in at the very beginning of the game. You walk around and there is a portrait of a woman that is in basically every room you go in. And I was like, gang, just don't have it. Just don't put it in there. Put it in maybe once or twice. That's fine. Does not need to be in every single room.
There's something to unpack. Like, is it weird? I'm struggling with this, right? Because I did the game ranks before you buy video where I was able to like really make note and really rattle off like all the systems, why I think some of these systems don't work, why I like this, why I don't like that. But now I'm still like, I'm sitting on the game. I've like completely finished it now. And I want to do a video like on my channel, like how I do here, where I just yap about it. And I'm struggling to find, it's so hard to talk about like a game that like I enjoyed playing, even though I know it is very not good and I like shouldn't tell anyone to play it.
So wait, you're saying you finished this game?
Yeah.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
And so,
but like I don't think,
but you know that it's not good, or you think it's not good.
Yeah.
But like that's the most interesting type of video to make.
Yeah, I know. It's just hard sometimes because with this one specifically, it comes with so much. It's not just like, oh, it's just bad. It's also like, well, it's also not what Vampire the Masquerade people wanted. Oh, it's also not what Bloodlines 1 people wanted. And it's just as weird. Like, it's not something I would say go out and buy right now. But I think like in a couple of years from now, like if you stumble upon it and you play it, you're like, it's a weird little fucked up game, you know? Sure. And sometimes I like those. Sometimes I just like those. I just like talking about them.
I think it's going to have a really good speedrunning community.
Really? Why?
It's just that like kind of jank that I think people could abuse really easily to make some real fun shit.
Sure. That sounds cool.
I just like I think I like, and I was kind of what I was saying at the start. Like I think I enjoyed seeing a lot of the like missed potential and even thinking what could have been and how they could have gone further with things, because it has time jumps. It jumps back to like a couple of weeks ago where you piece things together, but then it also jumps back to the 1920s and there's like a sub mystery there.
Fabian.
And you wake up as a vampire, but then you also have a dead vampire in your head talking to you, right? But every time you talk to him, he's like this noir gumshoe weird guy. He kind of sounds like, what if Garrus was like, what if Garrus Vakarian was kind of like
private DI, like a detective?
Yeah.
No.
He's got a totally similar type voice. No, you don't think so? Okay.
No.
But like it goes down like with like codec it's essentially like long sequences that are codec conversations of like him just talking to the guy in his head. And there's so many parts of the game that are just steeped in neon and noir. And when you get on top of a rooftop and you're looking around at this little hub city, you're like, this could be so fucking cool, man. I don't know. I'm just so hung up on like how much cooler it could have been.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential in it, and it is, just doesn't come together.
It's a bummer.
I don't know. It's a tricky one. Yeah, it is a
bummer. I want to see that video though. Make sure you make that video, man. I want to watch that video.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
Yeah, I'm cooking on that.
It'll do well as well. People are always interested in that sort of shit. Like, as in, I'm always interested in the perspective of like, hey, this thing that is not very good, I like it. Here's why. Like that's like way more valuable and more interesting to me than like, here's this thing that everyone agrees is bad. Let me also tell you why it's bad.
I think I got to the heart of it like enough with the before you buy, but like I treated it very clinically, where like I'm gonna go a little bit more by feel. Yeah. Weird game, really weird game.
Vibes-based video making.
Yeah, and
I was gonna say a separate conversation. Did you finish Yote, Lucy? Did you play any more of it?
Not yet.
Okay.
I wanted to play Yote and I wanted to play more Battlefield while I was sick. And those are two games that I just could not have the brain power to.
Fair enough.
Play while sick.
Battlefield's a lot. It's a lot of stimulation.
Yeah. I tried and I immediately pieced out. Yote, the thing is that I enjoy, like I said, the moment to moment. I feel like I know exactly where that story's going. But I'm not
100%. You can get, well, there's like one twist that, you probably don't see coming, right? But then everything else, you can see it coming. So, yes.
Can't believe Jin Sakai was alive.
He does a little cameo at the end. He's like,
he says, I am the ghost.
He says, I'm putting together a team of ghosts.
Ghost from Call of Duty's in there.
Casper's in there.
Casper's in there.
Casper the goat. I love him.
Casper the goat.
Wait, that movie is so good. Have you guys ever watched?
That movie is so sad. Are you joking?
It makes me cry every
Christina
time.
Ricci, whatever her name is.
Yeah. Bill Pullman. Yeah.
What is it? Can I kiss you? Or what is it?
Yeah. He's so cute. I love him.
Speaking of Battlefield, I have continued to play much Battlefield. I think I'm 60 hours deep on Battlefield now.
Damn. Nice.
Yeah, I play Battlefield a lot. I actually log on to do dailies.
Wow.
They have daily challenges that reset.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, 3:00, baby, let's go. Let's log on. And it's perfect because I get like little sort of, 2 to 3 matches in, half an hour, 40 minutes, done, and so I'm having a great time with that.
Love that.
Everything that I said in my review stands. The progression is better, but it's still pretty shit, particularly on the class progression stuff. There's some like hit code, net code issues like with hit registration where sometimes you just like empty a magazine into a target and nothing happens. That's rare though. I mean, I'm definitely seeing a lot of chatter in that in the community, but for me personally, it's been pretty good. But man, I just continue to really love it. I continue to be excited to log on. I continue to be blown away at the things that I see and do. It's just such a beautiful chaos simulator. Like, it really is just insane, the things that regularly happen in that game. I love the feel of it. The sound design is unbelievably top tier. It's like, I don't know, best audio design of the year, I would say. I can't think of a game that sounds better than this. Just a great package that I have not stopped enjoying. And there's new content is coming out like next week, I think on the 28th or something. The new big map, new guns, new weapons,
season
whatever.
1 stuff, yeah.
Season 1 stuff. It's also the Battle Royale stuff. I don't know when that's coming, but I think it's soon. I that's all the chatter. Everyone assumes it's soonish rather than like, I don't think it's next year, but I honestly don't know because they've not even officially announced or revealed it, I should say. They've said that there is Battle Royale, but they haven't revealed it. So yeah,
you know what I like about all that? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I like with what I'm playing now.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not like, what's the roadmap, dude? What's the battle pass?
Yes.
What's going on? Haven't thought about that once. And the fact that there's stuff coming out next week, I'm like, oh, sweet. That's it.
I agree. I totally agree. I've also played a lot more escalation lately. It's sort of become my go-to over Conquest, which I've sort of just the escalation format really works. Just a great game, man. Just a really great game that I'm gonna continue playing. It's gonna stay installed on my machine. I'm gonna do my dailies. I'm gonna unlock the shit. I'm gonna have a great time with it. It's just a really brilliantly made shooter that has just got me interested in. It's been a while since I played a shooter, just a competitive. Not competitive is not the right word. Just a multiplayer shooter, right? It's been a long time since I played one of these. Last time was Halo Infinite during its launch. So it's just nice to be in this sort of space playing this sort of game. And check it out. It's definitely worth it. I mean, it's a hefty price tag day one, but
it comes with a lot.
I think it comes with a lot, and I think not just in terms of content offering. Like content offering is what it is. Like I don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's underbaked either. But I would just say the moment to moment experience is a lot. Like there's a lot baked into how good this looks and sounds and runs and what you can do and just the kind of opportunities that it creates. There's a lot in that, and I think for that reason it like earns its price tag. You know.
I agree.
That's it. Yep. So you did it because you did a video. I haven't watched your video yet, but so you've been playing it post launch.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I stuck with it. Like after like the review process, it was kind of like my jump in game in between things. Like just do a match here. And yeah, absolutely love it. I want to play it more. Honestly, the fact that I have to move on from it is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm going to come back to it, and I think that's a testament. And I've been playing on console. I'm just like whatever. Like I like a casual console Battlefield. It's kind of like how I always treated them. Because I'm like, the stakes aren't that high. Like, whatever. I'm just running and gunning. Yeah. And it's been performing well. It's been playing great. Looks great on my TV. It's good shit. Nice and simple. Because, again, it always comes back to, for me, like, a good Battlefield is like, it makes you feel like fodder in a giant war, but productive fodder. Where you still feel like even if you suck and you're getting mowed down, you can still succeed in other ways. And it doesn't feel like a half measure. Like when I fix a tank or I'm like running around reviving dudes, I don't feel like I'm doing something not as cool or not as fun. And I think it's because of like everything you said, like the feel, the sound quality, everything else around it that just makes it, and plus how it rewards you doing all those things.
Yes.
It's just, it's perfect. It's perfect for me with that. Cause I do suck. So sometimes I can't.
I remember that double of the headshot.
I use that clip. That was like in our permanent B-roll for everything. I'm like, Game Ranks, take this. Jake channel. Like I put it everywhere. Like show that. But yeah, it's cool. It's a really good time.
It is.
Do you guys think it's going to like hit that 100 million thing and like really compete with all these other insane juggernauts out there?
I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't even think it has to. I just like it what it is.
100 million is.
I mean, I think we need to look at the horizon for that. Like, let's not forget, like right now, the game's sold through like 7 million units already. Yeah. So that's 7 million players already within like the first couple of days, right? Then that's going to cascade onto some more sales from word of mouth or whatever. And let's say it gets up to like 10 million, right? So you're 10% the way there. Then you've got Battle Royale, right? And if that is free to play, which everyone's assuming it is, there's a lot of players that can jump into that shit. And then immediately, what do you get yourself? Are you getting yourself 30 or 40 million players, like, you know, in the next couple of months or whatever, as people just download it, just why not? They give it a crack, whatever else, tick that box.
And if they find themselves really liking it, they might end up buying the full game.
They could pounce too, because it's going viral so much right now that there is going to be people that when they see a free version, they're going to be like, oh yeah. Because it's like, right now it's like Instagram reels and TikToks of all these crazy Battlefield moments. And it's cool to see. So
did you see that guy do that insane headshot on the jet? Like he had
the jet?
This, no, he was on the ground, he had the sniper rifle, and he just kind of like boonk, and then like 5 seconds go by and it's bing,
that's
and
crazy.
He's killed someone and like crashed.
I saw the best clip I saw was like someone was up on a roof and like they looked down at a tank and they were like with a launcher, they blow up this tank. The roof of the tank flies up and a dude is just like doing these ones, flying up in the air, like, and then guy pulls out his gun, shoots this dude as he's like flying upwards, and KOs him as he's coming back down.
Incredible.
So like that's the thing, man. Like Battlefield moments, it's a real thing. There's a reason EA keeps saying that line. It's 100% real.
Yeah.
So look, 100 million, I don't know, but I do anticipate that this is going to have more players than any Battlefield before it. I anticipate it's going to have a long. My guess is, and we never know, but my guess is that this is going to have a good, long, healthy life, because the foundations of it are so strong. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years, eventually EA announces, "Yep, we hit 100 million." Right? Not now, not like next year, but just like let it tick over and over and over, and eventually they put out a press release being like, "We've done it, 100 million players." I wouldn't be surprised. It'll come directly from the desk of Jared Kushner.
I was going to say their esports event for it will be held in Riyadh.
That's right. Exactly right.
Got a good set of comedians to warm up.
Yep. Fantastic. Love it.
Ralph, you've been playing Dispatch.
Yeah, I only played the demo just very quickly. If anyone's
it's like
not
that
familiar.
Telltale style superhero game.
It is.
Right?
Well, it's actually from a bunch of former Telltale developers.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
Incredibly Telltale coded. Like it is a Telltale game.
Bad engine?
Full stop. No, it's not. In fact, the animations, when you see the cutscenes and what have you, it's such a gorgeous looking game. But they really have done some fantastic work with making it look really, really nice and distinctive. I love all the character designs and because basically this is what it is. You are working in the dispatch office of a superhero management company, okay? And you're working the lines, dispatching superheroes to, hey, my cat's stuck up in a tree, or hey, my store's getting robbed, or whatever. And you got to match up. Like you need someone really brawny to punch some robbers or whatever. You put the strong guy. Hey, I can't, open this safe. You need someone clever. You put the smart person. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. It's very simple. That management side of it. It's really not much. It's got voice actors in there from like YouTubers, like Charlie Moist Critical is a voice actor in there.
Oh wow!
And Alana and who else?
Aaron Paul,
Jacksepticeye. Yep, Jacksepticeye.
Wow, cool.
Yep, and Aaron Paul and Laura Bailey and all these people. And yeah, but the actual cutscenes though, and the story that it's telling is really working for me. As I said, I only played the demo. It's probably like a 20-minute bit in total, but it felt very crisply written. It was funny. I liked the characters a lot.
It wasn't annoying. It just looks annoying, like the characters
this is the thing.
And the vibe.
It's so funny that you say that because Austin reviewed it for the channel, and he said it could be annoying for you depending on your tolerance and your sense of humor and whatever else, because it's by Critical Role, right? This is the team. The Critical Role have done this. And it's that kind of very D&D humor where everything is like a penis joke in waiting, if you know what I mean. So I never encountered it to be too grating in the bit that I played. It felt really good, but it was a really short bit. And Austin has played through much more of it. And he's like, this is sometimes a bit much, like just if they took it down a notch, great, but they don't. And so it could probably grate a little bit depending on your, tolerance. For me personally, what I played, really enjoyed it. Keen to play more of it. I would love to play through this whole thing, to be honest with you. It's out now, I think.
But it's only the first 2 episodes?
Yeah, it's episodic. There's like 2 seasons and then they're going to do up to 8 and they kind of roll out over the next couple of months. But yeah, look, it's nice. I'm just glad to see this Telltale thing still exists. I love this format and I really like what they've done with it visually. I really like this premise. And so far I like what I've seen of the writing. So I'm keen to check out more of it.
Cool.
That's it.
Speaking of first impressions, Lucy, you have Outer Worlds 2 written down. How much time have you spent in that? Because I've played quite a bit, but
seven hours or so. So I'm digging it more. So I did not actually latch on to the first one too much. I dropped it after like a couple hours. I just couldn't get into it. And so I'm actually glad that I gave this one more of a shot because I am finding myself very interested in it. I think because it hits on all of those RPG elements that I really like and it really encourages in you, which is being nosy, being places where you're not supposed to be and breaking into shit. And it rewards you in a way that I find really satisfying because I think a lot of times in games now, things like that can just be not as rewarding to track down.
Yes.
And so I'm really finding in this is in particular, like there's one of the opening areas where you go off the beaten path, you find an extra entrance, like a hidden entrance I lockpicked to get in. And then there was a point where there was a terminal and I hacked into it and I found this piece of information. And then not long after, I was having a conversation with a character who was being a dickhead. And then I was talking to him and it showed me, because I found this piece of information, like it clearly said, because you found this, you can talk to him about it. So it's encouraging me being in places that I shouldn't be, with conversation, with different ways that instances can play out, which I just find like a very satisfying loop. That's not encouraging me to beeline it straight for the objective. It is telling me to stop for a little bit. Like there's some, you can play it as more of, you can play it with swords, you can play it with guns, you can do whatever, it offers all that choice and stuff. And
shooting feels much better this time around.
Shooting does feel much better this time.
Right away. Yeah.
You do run out of bullets a lot though. Bloody hell. Really? Oh okay. Yeah. Ammo is, I think, got a really I have to have Niles in my party because he's the only one who can make, at least that I've unlocked so far, like he can actually make stuff for you on the fly.
I laughed when his name was Niles, which is just funny because it's like the only Niles I know is from Fraser.
Nice. And so I'm playing it as stealthy, Dishonored-like, me. Cool. But sure. there's things that I've discovered, like while playing, where there'll be a thing where I can hack into another terminal and just set a bunch of robots on an entire room full of goons that would absolutely take me down otherwise. So no, it's good. I think the writing is very funny.
It loves to hear itself talk, though.
It's a chatty game.
Oh my god,
it's a chatty game.
And sometimes you get locked in where someone's like, "Hey, thanks for delivering that thing. And by the way, I might have a side quest for you. And now I'm going to tell you all about." And it's like, whoa, wait! I didn't even say, "Okay, tell me about this next sub quest you have." Like a lot of that.
So there's a lot of that. It's a very chatty game, but I'm digging it more than Outer Worlds 1. I'm digging it more than Avowed.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I think
tell me why, like, what's in terms of comparison, what do you think, like, what separates these? Obviously they're different games, but like what is separating that enjoyment for you?
I think in terms of RPG and leveling systems, I'm really digging, especially, and I know that they had perks and flaws in the first one, but like I said, I didn't get too much into that story-wise. Perks and flaws in this game are really funny. They're really great. Really
so the bad knees one?
The bad knees one. I had one the other day where it was Delegator.
Okay.
And it was, you don't go in guns blazing first, you let other people do it for you. So you have like a 10 or 20% reduction on damage if you shoot first, but if one of your companions shoots first, you get a damage boost.
Okay, that's great.
And so
that's
there's like
so funny.
Very Zap Brannigan.
It felt, and then I got the knees one because I'm obviously like crouching the whole time, and so I felt it like it is being very reactive to the way that I'm playing. John Luke at work said that they are playing and they did they're dumb, so they're like the idiot.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they are picking every flaw. So now they get the flawed flaw, which means that they automatically pick up every single flaw. And it's just kind of like a really interesting modifier on how you play it. And so, they were saying that there's one where a flaw that they had to pick up where 75% of your earnings goes into the bank. So they have no money. However, as they level, they earn more interest on their money. And once they hit the level cap, they will get a massive payout.
It's literally superannuation. They've literally done superannuation, the video game.
It goes with the theme. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And so I think, I think
so
between
good.
The Protectorate, between what are the PPPPP?
The
Protectorate,
the space cops.
The Protectorate, the Earth Directorate. The
Space's Choice?
Space's Choice. Well, it's Anti's Choice now.
Yeah, it's
Anti's Choice because two of the corporations, like between the different corporations, between the different groups who are kind of vying for power and stuff, they are interesting enough and different enough to keep things really interesting. And yeah, it's not, I don't know, I've been finding myself wandering off a bit, and I think any game that really instills that sense of wonder in me is a good one.
I think for me, it's like the RPG construction of it. Like I like the conversationalist aspects, and I like being rewarded for having different perks and choices and skills and stuff. But like you said, also like exploring and finding weird shit, and then that comes up in conversation now. I also like when I like watching a game like this very smoothly integrate in my background choices.
Yeah.
And this game, I think, does a really good job of doing that.
I picked the one where it's like, you just work in a job. I just ended up here, man.
Oh yeah, you picked the one who's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I picked the gambler one, and every once in a while people would be like, yeah, I bet you like taking a risk like that, huh? Like shit like that. But also just in terms of like the role-playing construction of it, in terms of like dropping into a thing, and it's like, okay, here's what you need to do. This faction wants you to do it this way. This faction wants you to do it this way. And I found all of that in depth and layered enough where I wanted to go to each one and push as far as I could up until the final decision point on each faction, just to see it through, because it was intricate enough for me. I was like, this is pretty cool. The only thing, speaking of pretty, the game is ugly. Is that just my vibe? Like the environments are not doing it for me.
Oh,
the character designs and the buildings and the towns and the interiors are beautiful. But when I'm out there, like trudging to the next thing in nature, it just feels flat. Not a lot going on. Nothing to do.
Yeah, there's not. I would say in between the certain areas, there was really nothing actively going on. I wouldn't call it ugly. It's very colorful, at least in the first like couple of areas. I think there were ones where you get to the ones that like it's just the muddy browns. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's where it lost me. It just felt very like flat. Okay. But I still think the characters are very like, whoa, nice. Just with how they're expressive. They have like some light in their eyes. Like they're not like dead-faced people. They'll move a little bit more than I expected in those like rigid, like kind of conversation type things. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more.
Cool. Nice. Well, yeah, the reviews for this one will be up by the time this video goes out.
Yes.
So we'll find out what those are, and I plan to play it next week. I'm going to finish up my Ball XP, just try and get it out of my system, see how long that lasts.
And, well, you were pretty critical of the first one, right?
No, I enjoyed the first one a lot.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
I actually really liked the first one. I was a big fan of it, mainly because of its writing. I just really liked its voice, and I liked its characters. And I it had some, the level design stuff was kind of really weird and kind of felt like you were on Hollywood movie sets rather than actual environments. It was very kind of linear and cloistered and odd, and obviously its RPG stuff was a little simple, but I just really liked that world, and I think they nailed that kind of vibe of like, just absurdist, anti-capitalist, sci-fi stuff. So I was into it, actually. I really was.
No, it sticks with that, definitely. Like there's a lot more of that commentary, and it's very funny and interesting. Like right off.
Funny game. That's the thing, right? It was funny, and I like that. Not enough games make me laugh. Dispatch was one that I was chuckling already within the first few minutes. And I like when games can do that. It doesn't happen very often.
More funny games, please.
Yeah.
Do we have any other games we want to cover before we move on?
No, this is already going to be a 3-hour.
It's a long episode, man.
All right, so we'll bring it home. My stuff is short. Show and tell, the segment where we talk about something we've been enjoying that is not a video game. Ralph, what do you got?
Oh man, to be honest with you, it's been a lot for me lately. I've been doing house related stuff in the background and catching up with all the games and whatever. Literally just rewatching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
it feels like that time of the year. And watching Foundation season 2, which I've never got around to watching, and I just have such a soft spot for this series. I really love it. I watched season 1 again to get ready to watch season 2 finally, and I just loved it. I don't know. I know there's lots of critics of it, whatever, fair enough, but I just really enjoy it. And I also what's the other thing? Oh yeah, still reading Mistborn.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask how you're getting on with that.
Yeah, I'm just slowly ticking away at it, and they're just sort of like, I'm very early on still. They're like putting together the crew for the big job they're going to do, and meeting all the personalities, and I'm into it. It seems very simple and straightforward as like a fantasy thing is, and kind of a heist thing going on, and you've got your stereotypical characters, but I'm liking it a lot. I do enjoy it. It's just nice to sort of dip in and dip out of, and it's very easy to read, and it's great. So that's me, man. Not much else to report.
I'll kick from that. Talking about easy to read. So last year I set upon a quest. I was like, Halloween season 2025 October. I want to kick back by the fire on my chair and read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which I have read before.
Ooh.
It's a very good book, but I haven't read it in years and years and years. And I was like, I want to read it, but I want to find an old as hell copy. And it took me so long to find an old copy of it, but I finally got one.
Ooh, yeah.
That looks old as hell.
This is really old. It's the illustrated version, so it's like every couple of chapters there's like a little cruddy illustration.
Can we get a sniff test?
Yeah. Look how yellow it is.
Yeah, it's very yellow.
But it is, I believe, 1930.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, this took a while to find. It is 1932.
Wow. That was wild.
And so I've been just in between games when I need to just like not stare at a screen. I stare at a page, just chipping away at it. Yeah. It did make me realize how like internet brain short attention span, where I used to be able to crush books like this no problem. And now I'm like, oh, I really got to focus on this, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's a great story. I love it. And I love seeing how it's taken root in so many different ways in pop culture, and like which aspects of it, different interpretations pursue, because the book is very different, but it's been fun. But the most rewarding thing was like the hunt of finding this old crusty version of it in my bookshelf.
I love that.
That's me. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Spooky. I finally forced my friends to watch Interview with the Vampire, and they became obsessed with it. They became obsessed with it. We watched 2 seasons in like a week.
Oh, nice. I thought you meant the movie.
No,
I was like,
we are going to do the movie, I think, at the weekend.
I think you've spoken to us about this before, being so like, you just really love this, and I've heard it from other people as well, that it kind of has this like,
How many seasons is it?
2, both on Netflix right now.
Is it like wrapped?
8
is that
episodes each? No, they're doing season 3, which is going to be the Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned. Cool. So at New York Comic Con, they announced like they've cast Akasha, who was the role made famous in the movies by Aaliyah. And it's all going to be Lestat being that rock star bitch. And
cool.
So we watched that. We saw an early screening of Begonia, which is Yorgos Lanthimos' new movie with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons.
Dude, they are churning them out.
I mean, because it was Poor Things and Kinds of Kindness, and then Begonia, right? Like, but I really loved it. It's weird. It is funny. It is dark. I think Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, you just couldn't take your eyes off either of them for a second. Cool. A really, really great film. I think Poor Things, The Favorite, is still up there for me in terms of his movies that I like the most. But I really,
Poor Things was crazy, man. That was a movie.
Yeah,
that was a serious movie, man. Unbelievable.
The pitch deck for that, I can't even imagine that
exactly.
movie.
I don't know that I'll ever forget that movie, man.
I love Poor Things so much that I refused to look up any discourse about it.
Probably for the best.
So we caught an early screening of that. And the other thing I've been watching is the new Tim Robinson show on HBO, The Chair Company. First 2 episodes are, it's great.
Sure.
It is so good. It's
he's a treasure, that man.
His face.
His face just always makes me laugh. Yeah.
Anything funny.
Yeah.
This show, I don't want to spoil what it's about, because part of what is so funny is the journey and understanding him as an actor and the characters that he excels at portraying. Is like, you can just see the spiral start to go and you wonder where it's going to take you. There's an incredible bit with a wheelbarrow that I still quote every day.
Good.
From the first episode.
Good. Okay, funny. So it's got the brain worms of the bit. Yeah,
it's got the bits. And it's really good. So first 2 episodes are up right now. And of course, today HBO emailed me and they were like, "Hey, your shit's going up by $2.50."
Yep. One other thing I did watch, just on your theme, I did watch Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Oh, right.
What
okay,
a film.
yeah, sure.
Horny Dracula. Yeah, what a film.
That's one with Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor Keanu in that. Just trying to act next to Gary Oldman, just like crushing it and being meek, and also what's his name? Who played Hannibal Lecter? Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing, who as soon as he shows up in the movie, it's like, this guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But what a film though. Like, they used a lot of really cool techniques. Like, they used shadow in creative ways, and like they used like old school visual effects. It's a weird ass movie, but
it's no Megalopolis, but it's all right.
I'm still dying
Go back to
that.
the club.
It's incredible. It's yeah, honestly, the quote on the box is, "I wasn't bored for a single second." And I'm like, yep, that is a true thing you can say of this film. There's no doubt about that.
I love that.
Do you remember when it came out on digital and like platforms and for like a week, and then it disappeared?
Yes, absolutely.
Because that was when I was like, I'm going to watch this finally. And then I just couldn't.
No, I bought the 4K,
forever.
man. I was going all in. I'm like, this is Francis Ford Coppola's parting gift to the world. I'm gonna accept that gift. So, yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Well, get out of here.
That's it. That's our movie podcast. Thank you everybody for listening. You can rate us on all the podcast platforms. We'd appreciate that. We also have a clips channel, frames per second highlights. Yep. If you want to just kind of get caught up on stuff, if you can't listen to a whole 3-hour episode like this.
Crazy.
I mean, I think this episode's gonna be 3 hours and the rest.
Nah, I think there's like 30 minutes for Embark, 15 thing. It should come in just with the ads as well. Yeah.
Oh no, we took like a 5-minute, 10-minute break in the middle. No,
we did.
We should be okay. We should be okay. I don't think
it's too long though. Let's all agree it's too long. But the comment section is always like, "No, man, we want it to be longer." I'm like, no. 3 hours is too long. That's not our goal. We really like to keep it like a tight hour and a half to 2. But sometimes we just have.
When was the last time we kept it to an hour and a half?
We have in the past.
Yeah,
we've done it. Yep. And I'm going through recent episodes. I see 150 for the Silent Hill one, 156 for the Metal Gear one. Yes. That's the last time in a while. 2 hours for the GTA one.
That's not 90. That's almost 2 hours.
No, you're right. Okay, you're right. It's
listen, folks.
2 hours.
Time, regardless of time, however much people choose to listen with us, it is appreciated.
We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you all. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Tie your shoes and go to bed.